All right. Hello, everybody. I hope everyone's having a good Tuesday. We are going to be going over yesterday's hearing a little bit. We're going to go into today's. I have it on the TV behind me, so don't mind that. And then we're going to be going over Turning Point's little meltdown because there's lots of meltdowns going on. So as you get into the live, please be sure to say hi. If you're new to the channel, sorry guys, I got a piece of hair come across my face. So we're going to jump right into everything today just because I want to keep it moving. There's like a lot to go over. We're going to try to keep this where it's not too long. I know there's tons of people live right now with the Charlie Kirk trial. So I appreciate everyone being here with me. And we're going to go from there. So we are going to just jump right in. I hope everyone's doing well. All right. So yesterday was day one of the hearing with Tyler Robinson. It was a long day. As I told you guys in the video, the judge talked about how the trial was going to be every day. This week, it was going to be from 9 to 5 every day. So it's going to be very long days. I thought that the defense did okay. I didn't think that they started this off bad. It was day one. They were supposed to call, I believe it was 4 witnesses. And we ended up only getting to 2. There just seemed to be like a lot of testimony that they wanted to go over. It just took quite a while. It was really slow. So it wasn't exactly the funnest thing to watch. I'm going to go ahead and pull up court really quick this morning just to see what we got going on here. Before we start talking, we don't have to necessarily put the volume on, but I just want to pull it up really quick. How is everybody? I hope everyone's having a good Tuesday. It is going to be a long day. Please be sure to like the live right when you pop in. Say hello. I appreciate all of you guys. I hope everyone's having a very blessed day. All right. We are just going to jump right in. Okay. So, yeah, I didn't know if you guys knew this. It's just a fact really quick before we go into this, that Karen Nectar was Corey Richins' lawyer. In case anybody didn't know, if you're not a true crime junkie and you don't watch a lot of trials. Hi, Mark. Hey, Peaky Blinders. Hello. Hello. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. We're going to have fun during this live today. Are going to be live all day. I don't think I'm going to be going live all day. I know that Trigger Smart and them are live. I think they've got like a ton of people in theirs. So I don't know that there's a point to me staying live for too long. They're just a bunch of bigger creators that are going to be live. So I think people will be more there than here. So I'll probably just do a small live, just going over a few things, and then we'll go from there. I just thought that was a interesting point. Before we get into Turning Point USA's drama and everything that went down yesterday, because there was a lot, I just want to talk a little bit about a preliminary hearing. I was not super familiar, and I'm being honest, I'm human, with how a preliminary hearing works, just because even with true crime, I haven't seen a ton of prelim hearings, and I am not an attorney. So I try to like set aside some notes and make it understandable for all of us, because I think that it can be kind of confusing. So from what I learned with this type of crime, the state has to prove before a magistrate or a judge, basically to go and prove that first, the crime was committed, and second, that Tyler Robinson probably committed it. And so they have the probable cause standard, which I was not super familiar with. So obviously, as I said yesterday in my video, this is not proven the same as beyond a reasonable doubt when you have a jury. Very different. But it is something that you're proving to the judge. Okay. So it changes. It changes how I've looked at trials, because again, like, I'm not used to this. And I have not sat through one of these. How some evidentiary arguments are made, and how some of the rules of evidence can seem very relaxed was very new to me, in order to prove probable cause. But I didn't realize how like low of a threshold the burden of proof is for probable cause compared to, again, I'm comparing it to when you're proving it to a jury beyond a reasonable doubt, and what, how high the burden is. It's not like that at all when it comes to probable cause. So what else did I note? Sorry, guys. I try to put this in really good words, but it was a lot yesterday, me trying to make sure I pull everything. The judge yesterday, Nectar, the defense attorney, she was, talking about how she felt that the judge should not be allowing reliable hearsay from Officer Bagley. And she had a lot of objections to hearsay. And the judge kept saying he was going to allow it and that he wasn't taking it for truth, basically, is what he was saying. And so that was kind of weird to me because I've never really heard of reliable hearsay. To me, reliable hearsay is rumors, but apparently in court, a judge can say, hey, listen, because this is a prelim and it's not before a jury, I can hear this and I'm not going to take this at its face value of fact. And so it wasn't as, I guess, serious as I thought. I was like, why would we be taking hearsay? Now, I believe that all changes when it comes to an actual trial before a jury. So that's good news. I just wanted to point that out. Let's see. So that was a weird statement. What was a weird statement? I'm trying to explain this part of the law that I'm learning, and I'm not very good at it. So bear with me. So for instance, Officer Bagley was saying that, he so-and-so told him blah, 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 blah. And so what it comes down to is it's reliable hearsay. You have no proof that what that person is telling you is true, but you're using that in your report or you're using that. And so that's being told to the judge, and Nectar objected and said, hey, listen, I don't even think that should be discussed or talked about or whatever. Right. Not taking it as truth. Exactly. But they were still allowed to present that statement. So, again, when you get in front of a grand jury, very different. So yeah. So I just wanted to point that out. Really quick, we're going to go over a little bit more of yesterday's testimony, and we can go ahead and actually pull that up on Associated Press because they had yesterday's up. Let me just see because this is today's. This was yesterday's. Hold on. And I just want to show you guys a clip of the cross-examination, of Officer Bagley. Again, they were supposed to have 4 witnesses, and they didn't get to do that. It was just a very long day. I just want to show you guys a small portion. It's towards the end over here, I believe. Where is she? No, it's right here. Hold on.
Victim of the event. So it also should be protected under that. So we would object to it being read in public. It would not be admissible at trial in the current format that it is due to its hearsay nature. We do think it would negatively impact our client's right to a fair trial. And furthermore, I believe the witness herself has requested that, particularly because the video contains images of minor children, which I know the state has made an effort to redact, but nevertheless, the reference to the minors, I think, would still fall under the protection. And so for all those reasons, we would object to that coming out in public and being discussed in the public forum and being published in any way. And we object to it coming in.
All right. And so if you wouldn't mind just restating the rule that you're relying upon so I can fully look at your objection.
It's the UCJA, the Utah, Code of Judicial Administration. I just blinked. The Utah Code of Judicial Administration for Rule 4-202.02.
She's blinking because there's just so much going on. Can you imagine? Hello, Jeanette. How are you guys? I hope everyone's doing well. Good to see you for a minute. Good to see you too. I appreciate you. Hi, Jim, Pam.
To parenthetical 8, parenthetical F as in Frank, and or parenthetical 5 in
Judge, it is States Exhibit 6.1.
So that was her talking about her. That was one of her objections, but we want to go back to right around here.
A line of questioning, and so I just want to make sure that we're just taking a look at the clock and when you feel is a good time to break, roughly in that 12:10 range.
I will aim for that, Your Honor. That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, thank you. You may proceed.
May it please the court.
Yes.
Good afternoon, or morning still. Officer,
The hall flags right next to me. Yes.
okay, and that was before the shooting.
Yes. And then I saw several down there.
So I'm going to give you just a quick breakdown, a little bit of what we're going to listen to right now. So the reason we're listening to this is, so the judge was, I don't want to say frustrated, but she was doing a lot of objecting. And so it was making things go a little slower. I don't think he was, happy with that because it's already a long day as it is. This is Officer Bagley. This was the first witness. Again, he was working at UVU that day. There were lots of things about his testimony that were, interesting, details that, he, had answered to. And I think she did an okay job cross-examining him. I don't think it was like outstanding, but I think she definitely made some great points. One of the interesting things you're going to hear is her talk about basically lack of security and planning on the school's part for such a big event. Yeah, that's important and that doesn't look great, but it does nothing for what happened with Tyler. So that was a little weird, but I thought she did okay.
In the crowds and down by him. Yes.
And were you aware of whether that person was armed either?
I was aware he was armed.
Okay. Was there any other law enforcement agency besides Mr. Kirk's private security team and your 6 officers, including you, that were covering that event that day? In other words, did you have any Provo police or Orem police or anyone that you knew of or federal agencies?
I don't know.
You never saw any that day?
No, not until the response came in.
And you did mention, I think I heard you just a few minutes ago testify, you turned over the scene on the roof to a woman who was a deputy sheriff, right?
Yes.
And that you turned over the scene where the individual dropped off to, I believe you said, was it Orem police?
Payson.
Payson police, thank you. Those people weren't there till after the shooting, right? They were part of just a response of everybody in the area.
Correct.
Okay. Did you receive any type of briefing materials, written materials prior to the event that talked about who would be covering what or anything like that?
No, not that morning. Like I said, it started getting hectic. So we were trying to get down to the security area and push people away from the top of the tent.
Now, when this event was over, you prepared a report, is that right?
I did.
And in the report, it covers a lot of what you testified to with Mr. Grunander, doesn't it?
Yes.
And I think you said you attended, 600 hours of post-training?
It's around 600 hours. Yes.
And I'm sure somewhere in that training, you were taught the importance of your police report
Yes.
and how it will be relied on years later to recreate events like it's being done right now. And so it's really important to be as accurate as possible in your report.
Yep.
Can we put up Bagley 1? Can we switch it over to the defense table?
Okay, so I just want to point out really quick, we're only going to watch a small snippet of this from yesterday, but the reason that she's bringing up, so you agree that your report is important, right? Because there's a lot of things in the report that were added after the fact. They were not added a year ago. They were added months ago. And that is where she's really going to say, hey, well, if these were important and these were things that you found or these were things that were said or whatever, why were they not put in the report a year ago? Which to me makes sense. Why are we adding to a report from an incident that is almost a year ago in September? That to me doesn't make sense. A lot of his testimony was, well, could you say this was Tyler Robinson for sure? Did he have a hat on? Did this, did that? No, I don't remember. No, I couldn't really tell. Again, a lot of people, including TPUSA, are on the internet and they're saying, oh, well, this proves that Tyler was on the rooftop. No, it didn't. He can't attest to even, he can't even give a description for sure that was Tyler. He says, all I know is it wasn't a heavy set person. I don't know if he had a hat on. That's not a slam dunk. And placing Tyler Robinson on that rooftop, it doesn't. no matter what Lisa knows and all these people are saying. So let's listen to a couple more minutes of this from yesterday, and then we're going to move on.
Please, thank you so much. And show it only to the witness. This is.
We might speed this up. Hopefully that won't be too fast testimony-wise.
Do you see that report in front of you?
I do.
And is that the report that you prepared, or did you prepare this report?
I didn't. I did a supplement on it, but I didn't prepare the report. So like, because the incident was a big agency assist, so obviously it says it has all the responding officers to that effect.
Oh, we need to go to the page. Thank you for pointing that out. Can we please move to page 3 or 5 maybe?
And again, the thing is it sounds to me like she's trying to point out a lot of, more
Now,
negligent
let me ask
security.
the question again. Sorry, you just had the cover sheet up. Is that your report?
Yes, this is.
Right. And did you prepare that?
I did.
When did you prepare this report?
It looks like it was done the next day, either that day or the next day, because I wanted to make sure that I had it done where everything was fresh on my mind.
And do you have a copy of it in front of you?
I do, as a matter of fact.
May I just step in and just make sure that it's the same one? May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
You're good.
And we got to ask this now. Did you use AI to help you prepare your report?
I did not.
Okay, good.
No, that made me laugh yesterday.
When you prepared your report, you referenced when you first heard the shot, don't you?
Yes.
What is the time that you say that you heard the shot?
12:23.
Right. And when you wrote that report, you did not state in your report the direction you heard that shot come from, did you?
No, apparently not.
And take your time and look at the whole report and see if there's anywhere in there where you ever mentioned that it came from the east or to your right.
Wouldn't that be important information, guys? Like where you thought the shot came from? Why would you not put that in your report? Kind of weird. But he knew what
I don't
rooftop
see
to
it,
run to.
direction.
Okay. And you also, I believe, in your report, you also don't state whether or not, you don't mention anything about thinking it came from the low-C building or anything like that, right?
Later on, when I recognized when I saw the empty holsters, I think I actually said that in there, where I see the empty holsters, I realized the line of sight.
Okay, so let's talk about that holster for a minute. So you heard the shot, and you only heard one shot, correct?
Yes.
And then you came down from the walkway above the tent, right?
Yes.
And you came down to really the grassy area that we've all been looking at, the courtyard.
Yes.
And there was kind of chaos, people running around.
Yeah.
Yes. And while you were down there, you saw what you said was an empty holster.
Yeah. As I was cutting people out and making sure that the evidence was preserved, about towards the top, after a little bit, I saw an empty holster sitting there.
And when you say towards the top, can you be specific and tell us where you were?
So on the south side in the courtyard, there's some tiers of seating where the grass is different levels. I was towards the top, maybe just right before the cement is where everybody's standing. So there's different levels. It's towards the top on the grass.
And when you saw the holster, can you describe to me what it looked like?
An empty concealed holster
For what type of
or a
weapon?
pistol.
And did it have any markings on it?
I didn't even know. Not that I noticed.
And what happened to that holster?
I have no idea.
Did you ever take custody of it?
Nope.
Did you ever tell anyone else to take custody of it?
Nope.
You just left it on the grass?
I did.
Was it ever fingerprinted to your knowledge?
I have no idea.
So that is weird to me that he says that he left the holster. Now, it is legal in Utah to carry a gun. So I know that there's a lot of people on campus that had guns. We saw this when we watched the live coverage where someone did, I believe, pull out their pistol to try to figure out where the shot came from, if there was going to be another shot, so on and so forth. But again, when you know that they're legal and people have them, why would not, at this point, you don't know what the weapon is, right? And he says he couldn't tell at first. So why would you not think to take that as evidence? There was a lot of things when it comes to this case where things were contaminated and touched and so on and so forth that shouldn't have been. It's very weird.
Okay. At some point, there were drones in the air. Is that right? Did you become aware of that?
Yes, I was made aware of that.
Right. Do you know who put the drones in the air?
Sergeant Cam Nelson with the Provo Police Department.
Right. So it wasn't you?
No.
Did you guys even have drone capability? Did you have a drone on campus that you used?
No.
All right. So someone would have had to bring one after the shooting onto campus because you wouldn't have had one there.
True.
Right. You mentioned that as you were coming down into the grassy area from the top above the tent, you come down the Hall of Flags, you come into the grassy area. You mentioned that you heard, I guess, on your radio that they had a suspect in custody.
Yes.
And so how long do you think between the shot being fired, did you hear that?
I was in, like I said, trying to get down the stairs, jumping over people, trying not to step on people as people were fighting up. Within 30 seconds maybe.
Right. So they pretty much instantly had someone in custody.
Yes. And that's why I was quite surprised.
Were you aware of where the person was taken into custody?
Right down by where Charlie Kirk was sitting by his tent, somewhere down there.
So in the courtyard area, the person would have been in the courtyard area at the time of the shooting.
Yes.
Was that person in or near or around the holster in any way?
No.
You don't know?
No, he wasn't. Where the
Oh,
holster was up on the top level up there, and it was where when the incident happened, when Charlie got shot. Within seconds, the other officer that was down by him said that he was in custody with a prisoner of the shooter. So,
So
right there.
you didn't, at that time, it was your understanding the person they took into custody was close by Mr. Kirk. Is that right?
Yep.
But it didn't occur to you that, well, that's not where I heard the shot come from. They must have the wrong person. I should talk to somebody.
During the chaos moment, no. That's that they said they had a person in custody. I figured those guys saw something I didn't see. They took the person in custody, and I thought that was him.
Okay. This would be a good stopping place because I'm about to start another section.
Okay.
So maybe we could go 5 minutes early for lunch.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you, officer.
We're going to go ahead and break for lunch. We'll come back at 1 o'clock. I do want to note for the camera operator, if you would just be cognizant and turn off the microphone during breaks and when we break for recess, that would be helpful. The
whole time that this is going on, you had an active body camera on your, I guess your collar, is that right?
That was right on my
Your
chest.
chest.
Yes.
Okay, and it was on.
Yes.
And it appears to me from reviewing your body camera that there was another individual who was with you that went to the Losi building who was in civilian clothing but appeared to have a gun. Who was that?
I don't know who he was exactly. He had a badge on, and I had somebody with me to back me up as I ran up the stairs to make sure I had somebody with me.
So you don't know what agency he's from or where he's from?
No.
And it looked like he had a pistol.
Yes.
Is that right?
I had been, yes.
Right.
These are good questions from her. And to me, this is not a good look for the prosecution.
Handgun. And so the two of you go to the Losi building.
Yes.
When you reviewed the videotape at the police department later, did you check to see if anyone had been on the Losi building after the shooting, after this individual had jumped off that you've already talked about? Was there anybody else on the roof? Did you check and see in that gap of time?
In that gap of time, no. So once I put up the barrier, I only walked up to about that point, and then I went down and reviewed the video from that moment on.
So are you able to say for one way or the other, if anyone else had been on that roof in between when the person jumped off the building and when you came on the roof, are you able to say one way or the other?
There was people out there looking for an individual that ran that way, because when I first got told the individual ran heading north, we didn't know where the shooter was. So we started climbing up and looking, clearing the building. And it wasn't until I went to the PD and actually saw him jump off the building that I knew he was off the building.
Let me rephrase that because I think I either asked it badly or you misunderstood me. So let me go back again. So from the time that the individual that you spotted on the video jumped off the roof, right? The individual that you thought was in the prone position.
Okay.
Between that and when you got on the roof, did you ever check to see if anybody else had been on the roof in that period of time?
Yeah, and I didn't see anybody.
So you
I
did
didn't
watch?
notice anybody.
You didn't, did you look on the video to see that entire, okay, that's what I'm asking. So you did not review the video to see if there was someone between you, that individual jumping off and you coming on, if anybody had been on or disturbed that scene in any way. Okay. But once you put the tape up, then we're confident from that point on the scene was preserved, right?
Hiring shouldn't be a job in itself. With Upwork,
Wait,
We're almost
done.
Officers responded on the scene that he was down on the bottom and threw it up to me. So
Okay. So you didn't have it on you?
No.
And you didn't leave the scene to go get it?
No.
Someone threw it up?
Yes.
Great. All right. While you were on the roof, did you encounter any spent casings?
as a matter of fact, no, that's why when I saw the prone position where the person would be laying down a sniper, being around guns and snipers all the time, I was looking for a spent shell casing. I couldn't see one. I was looking over the edge, looking all over the place, making sure the gravel wasn't disturbed, and I couldn't find a shell casing at that moment.
And that would be the reason you
Okay, he said he couldn't find any spent shell casings. Now, to me, that's weird. But not only that, Tyler Robinson allegedly engraved them or wrote on them in Sharpie. We've heard two different versions. Why would you not leave the shell casings then? Because wouldn't that be the point? Like, why you engraved them or wrote on them is for someone to see whatever the message was that you had on them. Why would you pick them up? It would totally defeat the purpose of, by the way, like to engrave those, how hard and how much work that would be makes zero sense. Let's continue. Like I said, we're only got like a minute left of this. And then we're going to jump into the turning point drama, and then we'll jump in today.
would be looking for that was because some types of guns, when they shoot, eject a casing automatically, right? Some
Yes.
do, some don't.
Yes.
Right. And then you also didn't find any unshot bullets.
No.
Okay. Are you aware of there being a bullet found on another roof?
I'm
in the
not aware.
vicinity? Were you aware of another bullet being found on the scene, not on the roof of the Lucy building?
I know.
All right. Your body cam footage that I reviewed appears to end while you're still on the roof. Do you know why that is?
I think the battery went dead. It was just right at that moment.
Okay. And do you know, did you ever turn it back on that day or go get it? I don't know. Do you have to do charge it or stick a new battery in it? I don't even know.
Usually dock it, but no, I didn't go back. It was too chaotic running around.
So that 27-minute and 35-second body cam that starts when you're at the Hall of Flags and Inns while you're still on the roof, but haven't put the crime tape up yet. That's the only body cam you have that day.
Yes.
You mentioned when you went to the police department, you watched the video where you saw an individual up on the roof,
Yes.
right? And that individual was in the vicinity where you saw the disturbance in the gravel.
Yes.
And when you looked at that video, were you able to identify the individual's face?
I know.
Were you able to identify any markings on their clothing?
I know.
Were you able to identify their height?
No.
When we looked at the picture of I think you called it the sniper perch, somebody use your words. It looked like there was a measuring tape laid out next to it. Were you present when they measured like the distance, like how tall that person would have been?
I was not.
So you don't know what that is?
I don't.
Were you able to tell the person's weight from the video that you saw?
I can tell he wasn't heavy set. So
Okay.
More of a,
So see, he can't place Tyler Robinson at the scene whatsoever.
skinnier person.
Could you identify what shoes they were wearing?
I could not.
Could you identify anything about a hat or what was on their head?
At the moment, no, I couldn't.
And did you see a gun in the video?
I saw a long black object in the left hand as he was running across the roof.
And in fact, did you describe that in your report as a bag?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know why.
All right, let's pull that report back up, please. Oh, never mind. I don't think you mentioned what you saw. So in your report, let's pull that back up, please. Page 5 on the Bagley one. So looking at the second page, you're actually gonna have to go to page 6, I think. You talk about what you saw in the video where they jumped off the roof. And again, I'm going to remind you of our conversation we had before about you understand how important these reports are.
Yep.
And do you mention anywhere in this report that you saw a gun?
I did not. I just said object.
Did you mention that you saw that object? Is that on here?
Nope.
Okay, so you left that out. Now, have you looked at that over and over again?
The video? No,
Yeah.
I've only seen it twice.
Oh, really?
Yep.
When's the last time you saw it?
It's been months.
Okay. The last time you saw it, were you able to tell what that object was in his hand?
Yes.
Now-
Well, not tell what it is. I can see there's an object in that left hand. Yes.
And could you, knowing what you know about the case today, do you have an idea about what that object was?
It looks like a rifle or something to that effect. A long object,
It looks like a rifle.
like a long object, like skinny and long. You can see it's like almost like it's covered over something.
So you saw the cover, which was the towel, right?
Yes, and the shape of it is long.
Okay.
You know.
So you can see a towel, but you can't see an actual
I don't know if it
gun.
was a towel or a blanket. I don't know what it was.
But you can't see an actual gun.
No,
Video.
like an object, like a form of a gun, like a long object.
Okay. All right. At the end of that day, what time did you leave the campus?
I was probably like 9 o'clock that night, maybe somewhere around there.
And did you come back the next morning and work some more?
I came back the next morning. Yes.
And you worked all day the next day?
On and off.
When you left at 9 p.m., did you or anyone else know who the shooter was on that day?
No, not that I know of.
And when you came back the next morning and worked that afternoon, all that day, did you or anybody on that campus know who the shooter was?
Not that I know of.
Okay. So nothing that you found that day or anyone else to your knowledge on campus was able to identify who the shooter was.
And that they know. Well, during the time I was there, no, that I knew of.
I also want to talk to you about that giant picture that was showed to you. Do you know,
Exhibit 35, I think.
yes, it's Exhibit 35. Do you know who took that picture, where it came from?
I do know.
Do you know how old it is?
I have no idea.
And the pictures you were shown, Exhibits 1, 2, and 3, that you got up and kind of talked about and showed all the buildings and everything. Do you have any knowledge about where those pictures came from? Or
I
who
guess
took
they
them?
were drone footage, just taken from a drone.
Do you know who's operating the drone?
Sergeant Ken Nielsen from Provo Police Department.
Provo Police Department. Have you seen those pictures before today?
Before today, yes.
When did you see them?
A couple weeks ago.
And that was just in preparation for testifying?
Yes.
Prior to that, had you ever seen those pictures? Can I have the court's indulgence for just a moment, Your Honor?
You may, Ms.
Just one
Estes.
moment.
Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys that small snippet of her questioning him. Again, to me, the testimony of Officer Bagley, especially, he seems truthful. He's openly saying, hey, I do not remember, this or that. I don't have proof of this or that. I just know it was a skinny person, not a hefty person. I have no idea if they had a hat on, didn't have a hat on. I couldn't really see. So to me, it's very apparent that they can't put, especially him, can't say for sure the person sitting here in front of me is this person, so on and so forth. I thought she did really good in her cross. Again, I don't know that it was amazing, but it wasn't bad. I think she definitely did well when it came to pushing him on the reports, pushing him on why didn't you take that holster? Why did you not test it for prints? Why would you not take that into custody, being that this is an event where you have thousands of people and people all have, you know, firearms and so on that they're able to legally carry. But you, at that point, you did not know what the weapon was. So why would everything not be taken as evidence? Again, we have a very contaminated crime scene. People were kicking things around and walking around and picking things up and going back for their strollers and so forth. So, you know, nothing about it. There was no protocol being followed. There was no, to me, the chain of custody is all messed up. I mean, everything's messed up, really. But I just didn't think his testimony was very strong for the prosecution because, again, I want to bring it back to kind of what I've learned about when it comes to a probable cause hearing is that your probable cause case has to be strong enough for the judge to say, hey, we can have a trial because you have proven that it is very likely that Tyler Robinson is the person who committed this crime. And when you look at this testimony of him being cross-examined, that gives me, to me, it looks like a weak portion of the case. Again, they ruled that they are not going to allow. So even the people in the courtroom, I watched Brian Enton's video, and we can bring that up as well at some point. They did not allow everyone, even in the courtroom, to see the videos and photos. Only the judge was able to see those and the lawyers. Okay. So not even the people in the courtroom get to see those. So they're saying, oh, well, we're providing this transparency, but they're not, though, because there's still things that people cannot see.
We're looking.
They are not allowing anybody sitting in the courtroom to see any of these videos as of yet. Only the judge. Again, this is about proving to the judge that there is enough probable cause for them to be able to take this to trial, that it is very likely that Tyler Robinson did this. So a lot can come from this. We either proceed to a trial because the probable cause is strong enough to suggest that Tyler Robinson is the person who did this, or there could be a dismissal. There could be a plea deal before trial. I mean, there's so many different things that could happen in the meantime. So there's just a lot going on. Okay, so I just want to show you guys that a little bit. Again, the holster was an issue for me. The reports lacking information and then adding things, that was weird to me. I thought the hearsay isn't really great. He just didn't seem really reliable, in my opinion. The body cam battery dying after 27 minutes. And by the way, this is during the time that he would have been on the rooftop finding all these, different things and so on and so forth. That battery dying, how convenient is that, you guys? Like, let's just talk about the convenience again about something else in this case where what are the odds that his body cam battery would be dead when he would have to be up there to find all this? Just imagine. But remember, coming into this, we were promised, oh, you're going to see the proof. You guys are going to see the undeniable proof that this is what happened. Tyler Robinson did it. We got it all in the bag. And now you have someone saying, hey, yeah, I didn't even make sure my battery was charged. I didn't swap out the battery. It was too chaotic. Yeah, lucky it wasn't 33 minutes. Yeah. Wouldn't have been surprised, right? It probably, yeah, someone said it didn't die. Nothing would surprise me here. So that was very interesting to me, as I'm sure it is to a lot of you. I just think the testimony was weak. I don't really think it did anything for the prosecution. Yeah, I don't know. So I just wanted to go over that little portion with you guys. We'll keep this in the background, and we're going to go over a little bit of the Turning Point USA drama from the last several days, because there's been plenty of it. And then we'll pop back in to see what's going on with court today. If you guys are good with that, let me know in the chat. If you guys are good with that for a little bit, let court get going. David Hull, which is the former lead investigator on the case, he is on the stand again this morning. We ended court yesterday with him on the stand. We'll get into his testimony more later on. And nothing's really that I know of happened yet. So believe me, I've got it in the background. I'm trying to keep up. Kristen, I'm sure, is keeping up as well. If something crazy happens, she'll let me know. And we're just going to jump into some of this turning point stuff. So let's just take this down. We're going to go straight to how many of you guys saw I have to show a little bit of this just because I just have to. Andrew Colvett and Blake Neff they've been having a meltdown. Okay, going towards this trial. On Friday, they were on the Charlie Kirk show, and they were just, oh my gosh, this week is going to be so hard for Erica and so hard for Charlie's parents and his kids, and just so hard for us here at Turning Point USA. They went on the Charlie Kirk show, as they always do, and did a little segment. We're just going to listen to a glimpse of it, and we'll actually make sure that this goes a little fast.
There's a huge event that's happening next week that's obviously near and dear to us. It's going to be very difficult in many ways, and that is, of course, the preliminary hearing in the case of the state burst through the 10th. As I said, it's going to be very difficult, extremely difficult, but an important week, and that's going to be for all of us in the extended Turning Point family, and especially Erica and Charlie's parents. And they're going to be in my prayers a lot next week, and I know you as well, Blake. And so it's going to be difficult because they are going to be in the actual courthouse, and that's going to be difficult. I'm not going to be there. Blake and I will be running a special episode streaming. We're going to be streaming the entire preliminary hearing, and then after it concludes at the end of the day, we are going to be bringing in experts, people that were on the ground in Provo, and we're going to be breaking that down, the big evidence that's revealed, the big news that's made, whatever is critically important.
Wait till you guys see who their experts were that they brought in. You guys are going to crack up.
To what happens that day. We feel it's incumbent upon us to be a source of truth and just honesty about how it's reporting, because there's going to be a lot of news. Okay, and there's going to be a lot of people taking it and doing what they will with it. We want to be a place where you guys can come to trust what's going to happen. We're going to bring in really, really smart people that know how this process works. I don't know if you want to chime in on
it's
this.
just we want to be clear. We're making it sound like it is the trial, and honestly, to us, it sometimes feels like that. It is not the trial.
This is not the trial.
This is only a preliminary hearing where they essentially show probable cause for charging Tyler Robinson.
Yeah. So let's go into that. This is not the trial. This is the pretrial judicial proceeding. Okay, there will be no jury, and the sole purpose of the hearing is to determine whether the prosecutors have gathered enough evidence for the case to move forward to a trial. Okay. So there's different rules. We'll get into all that next week. You can allow hearsay, et cetera, et cetera. But the hearing is expected, like I said, to last most of the week. It will include witness testimony, evidence presented by the prosecutors, and cross-examination by the defense. As I said before, Charlie's parents and Erica will be there together throughout the proceedings. They're not attending as public figures. They're attending as grieving loved ones to witness the process of justice unfold. So I hope, this probably is more of a hope and a prayer than anything else, that the media and social media pay them the respect that they deserve. So this hearing, by the way, was originally scheduled for the end of May.
Yes.
We were all gearing up for it, but based on some motions made.
Pay them the respect that they deserve. Well, Erica's getting the attention that she quite literally begged for. I don't know what else to say, but hey, here we are, right?
By the defense to next week, July 6th. It's an incredibly busy part of the schedule for all of us. We've got stuff going on in DC.
So they originally said that they weren't going to stream the whole entire court day. They were going to be talking about other things, and they would pop in and out, and they were going to do some coverage. Then it turned into, we are going to cover the whole thing. And I think it's because of what Candace Owens presented. It literally went insane. Yeah. So Lisa Knows posted this, right? And then the comment section, I thought this was funny. The people were pointing out the views. They don't do full streams on YouTube. That's not the bulk of their views. Are you okay? Because she's trying to talk about how they're saying their views suck, right? Look at their views. And Lisa Knows. I mean, I want to know what she gets paid to defend these people. Look at her. She lives on the internet all day long. No, you're dumb. She calls everyone dumb and idiot. You're dumb. You're an idiot. I mean, that's the only thing she's got. But I just wanted to show you guys that they were hey, listen, everyone needs to feel bad. Give them the respect they deserve. Respect us. Kiss our feet. Feel bad. It's always something with them, right? So we're going to jump into the drama now. So Candace Owens had posted this yesterday. Saying today the Tyler Robinson show trial begins. Evidence like text messages, confessions, text message confessions will be allowed in the courtroom, despite the fact that Tyler's defense has not been allowed to vet those messages to determine if they were doctored or who actually sent them. Remember, the FBI and ATF was not forced to turn over key evidence despite multiple discovery requests, because the judge has ruled it's not necessary at this stage. Key witness testimony from Lance Twiggs will be played, but Lance Twiggs is not allowed to be cross-examined because the judge has ruled it's not necessary at the stage. Today is about emotion. You will hear the Fed narrative absent any ability for the defense to meaningfully dispute it. What you can expect, aside from Erica's tears, are in orbit of her payrolled influencers trying to convince you that the unvetted evidence is overwhelming and undeniable. Sit back and watch the predictable show. The real trial will come later. Charlie's army is growing. Ultimately, truth will win. And that was a picture of her and Charlie. Now I'm going to tell you what. Then she posted, "One more fight, Charlie. I don't fear these demons. We will win." Oh my goodness, the tailspin that this sent Andrew Colvett and Blake Neff into, you guys. If you don't have X, I'm telling you, missed out. How is this not necessary? Just wild. Yeah, I mean, what they're saying basically is it's not necessary because it's a probable cause hearing. Again, the burden of proof is much lower. The threshold is much lower. So it just gets us to trial for what actually happened. Yeah. So like the defense doesn't get to, they can cross-examine, but they don't get to provide, like, let's say, evidence on their side to prove Tyler Robinson like innocent, if that makes sense, or prove their side of the case. It's really for the state to bring forth what they have for proving why there's enough probable cause to basically have the trial of Tyler Robinson likely being the person who committed this crime, if that makes sense. Again, I know I'm not a lawyer. My verbiage is not the best. I'm trying to just talk in plainest terms. So 23 hours after that, Andrew Colvett and Candace start going at, well, actually during this time they were going at it, I'm sorry. So she posts, "Nice touch, your old partner quarterback." This study referring to me as in, you know what, on the day of the Tyler Robinson trial. "Keep it going. I am nowhere near my max setting. And like I said, I want war with all of you traitors. Give it your best shot, Andrew Colvett." Well, Andrew went ballistic. He went ballistic. So he started saying to Candace that you and Charlie were never really friends. He was trying to placate you. You give him anxiety. He didn't want to deal with you. He had all of us deal with you, so on and so forth. You guys haven't talked in years. Which again, like, I came back to listen, and I will say this again, and I don't want people to get rude in the chat or get mean. Do I think Candace Owens is right about 100% everything? No. Do I agree with everything that comes out of Candace's mouth? No. I believe that everybody has their own reasons, and some of them are for the right things, right, of wanting the truth and so on and so forth. And there are also other benefits that people reap from certain things. I am not saying Candace Owens is bad. I'm not saying I'm against her. I am with her, obviously. I think she's doing an amazing job to bring truth forward. I think she wants the truth of what happened to Charlie. But with that being said, I have my own discernment, and I do realize that people are people. And at the end of the day, people have their own reasons as well. Two things can coexist at the same time. Two truths can coexist at the same time. You can like someone and not agree with every opinion they have. That is a thing. Everything right now is so emotional to where people believe that if you say that you don't believe in everything Candace Owens says, that means you don't like Candace Owens. That's not true. And that's half of the problem with what we got going on here. But so she writes back and she goes, "Not that Andrew Colvett could sink any lower by lying about how Charlie felt and what and whom he supported. But today he is promoting the NCRI, the Creators of Christ is King anti-Semitic study. Charlie was actually the one who texted me that report. He was sickened by their crap. Charlie specifically sent me the tweet from Andrew's first PR partner, Reverend Johnny Moore, which, do you guys know who Johnny Moore is? Because He's tied in with, oh my gosh, what's his name from Survivor? Oh gosh, I can't think of his name right now. I'll think of it and then I'll talk to you guys about it. When he's not busy allowing starving Palestinians to be ruthlessly murdered, running for food, he apparently teams back up with Andrew Colvett to misrepresent everything Charlie stood for and against. And so she shows more text messages of her and Charlie talking. So this is March of 2025, where Charlie sends her this, oh my God, can you believe this crap? She put, this is nuts. Christianity is being attacked. 100%. So he was saying that Candace has not talked to Charlie in years. He was going back to like 2018, 2019. Well, guess what? He attacked her all day long over this, all day long. Mind you, you have Mason Lemmy, who is the one that I told you guys about that he had wrote that like 10 to 12 page resignation letter. They've been attacking him like crazy on X. I've covered a lot of his stuff. I feel bad for him. He's young, trying to fight for truth. And they just, you're just dealing with the sickest of the sickest at this point. So Andrew was attacking him, attacking Candace. So Mason was sticking up for Candace. He said, Andrew Colvett, you should be brought to court, put on a stand and questioned about your knowledge of 9/10. We know you had foreknowledge and you will be judged by God at the end of your pathetic life.
And how is your relationship with Candace Owens nowadays?
She's a great friend. Look, I don't agree with everything Candace says, but you know what I don't do? I don't stop being friends with people just because people morally blackmail me. I have different views on a lot of geopolitics. But honestly, I traveled the country with Candace. I went to her wedding. I saw her meet her husband. I went to Israel with Candace, which is a fun story I'll tell you at some point. But what I don't like is when people demand, you must stop being friends with somebody. Whoa. And so I think the world of Candace. She's a great mother. She certainly has very, very fun opinions at times. And she's a great talent. She says a lot of stuff that sometimes I don't agree with, but that's what makes our relationship and our friendship interesting. My advice to all of you, you might not like somebody, but never tell somebody like me to stop being friends with somebody on an interpersonal level just because of disagreement.
Exactly. And then he showed the donor text messages that, again, Andrew came out and said, yeah, those were real. And then now he's he's trying to walk back so many things. She put, feels good to finally get to the final boss of the PR idiocracy, right? Or idiocy, sorry. Andrew posts, Candace, you and Charlie were not friends. He managed you. He kept things light and polite so you won't turn on the organization. Show me any proof of genuine friendship from the last 12 months of his life, which she just did, from the last 18 months, from the last 24 months, not some 2018 text, something recent. You gave him anxiety whenever you called or texted asking, demanding to speak at our events. He made me or Justin deal with you and George. This is why when you tried to hire me in February 2024 for PR, I agreed to go along with it against my better judgment because Charlie asked me to keep you close and protect the org from you. The publicist I tried to hire to run Point prayed about it and felt the Lord told her a firm no. And so I ultimately declined. This is your central foundational lie. You were not his friend. You are not his defender. You were his tormentor. And now you torment his wife and the organization he built. Candace, you are a fraud. That was his response to this picture. Again, she provided text messages from 2025. Again, you can literally Google that she was on tour with Turning Point. I remember when I got attacked in the very beginning and people said, hey, she had nothing to do with them. And I'm like, and they're like, show me the proof that she was talking to them still or talking to Charlie still or did anything with Charlie. I said, Google the 2024 Turning Point tour. Candace was on it with them. They said, oh, no, you need to show me. I said, oh, gosh, I'll spoon feed you. I Googled it and sent it to the person. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. They want it to be so untrue that you know what I mean? It's just wild. So again, he's attacking more. She put, Charlie had so much anxiety about our friendship that he was the one updating me on the farce of October 7th. Really weird to continually initiate conversations with someone you're scared of. Again, here we have Charlie Kirk, June 18, 2024. So I just showed you 25 text messages in March. Okay. So again, just a couple months before he passed. Now we're going back to 2024. So she's literally dropping text message after text message because he's saying go back 6 months, go back 12, go back 18, go back 24. Well, guess what? She was doing it. She was showing him I have it all. So again, you know, when you blatantly lie like this and it's all things, and here's the thing, they wish so bad that they could delete half the crap they've said on the internet. Because they're, you know, you can go back and a lot of people screen recorded things and screen grab things, and it's a mess for them. She said, "Hey, Andrew, the reason I don't share too much of the recent stuff is because it's got a lot to do with the little country and people that were radically supporting it. Funny memes mocking people. But with your permission, we can go max today. Do you want me to keep sharing?" And she tagged Andrew. And believe me, Andrew kept carrying on. I'm telling you, I have no idea how they ran the Charlie Kirk show yesterday with the way that he was back and forth with Candace. I mean, it was wild. So she go ahead and posts, "Andrew has been recently seeding the narrative that Charlie distanced himself from me. Here's Andrew in his own words on a text chain with me and Charlie in May of 2024 denying that charge. Charlie had my back 100%. His donors were the ones pressuring him, and he always expressed to me that he thought the Daily Wire was behind the sudden push. Truth wins." Ready? So we're going to make this bigger. May 3rd, 2024. Geez, this is Andrew. "We're not distancing ourselves from you. We have a bunch of donors that want us to, but we deal with them one-on-one. And this website is a resource explaining things. Most of them are fine once we sit and talk to them. I wonder if it's Ben personally or the Daily Wire. Pretty dirty." Okay. "Candace, we are 100% with you." This from Charlie Kirk. And then Andrew is sending, looks like media screenshots. Okay. And then here we go. Unreal. So again, she is like, "Okay, you want to keep going? Let's keep going." He wanted to keep going. You know what I wonder? Let me know, chat, what you guys think. But at what point do you think a person would be like, "Hey, you know, I keep being proved that I'm full of crap. Maybe I shouldn't keep going. Maybe I should stop while I'm ahead." Not one person at Turning Point, including Andrew and Blake. Not one. I truly can't get over it. At what point you would be like, "Okay, like I said too much, or I did too much," or, you know, they never cease to amaze me. They don't know how to stop. "Hey, Andrew, the reason I don't share too much of the," oh, okay, we read that. Sorry. All right, hold on. So now this was what we just watched earlier, right? Okay. And so someone again had posted that video. Then Candace had posted the video. She said, "I'm glad you finally came to the surface, Rat. Your previous employees told me it was you and Erica that were teaming up with YouTubers to put out the utterly fake narrative that Charlie and I were not friends and he had anxiety." By the way, everyone has anxiety. Existing in this world gives me anxiety. "You also worked together to lie about his pull towards Catholicism and to put out the deranged narrative that I secretly loved Charlie and hadn't spoken to him since 2019, despite me touring with him through May 2024. Your lies are easy to debunk. I simply should not have demanded to speak at any, or I simply could not have demanded to speak at any Turning Point USA event because we had a speaker contract that rolled over annually. Andrew, this means I never, ever had to beg or even request to speak at any event because I was contractually obligated to speak at major Turning Point USA events every year. It's also utterly ludicrous to suggest he didn't pick up any of my calls because I never call. Any person who knows me knows I never pick up or call people, but you lie so much. I am going to accept this easy challenge to prove that you are a liar by releasing every single time I dialed Charlie's phone number for the last 3 years. As soon as I am back on air, that will be released gratefully. Telephone logs go back 5 years. I simply prefer to text, and thank God for that, as I've been able to debunk your lies about Charlie because of the habit. Like I said, your number one problem is that you are dumb. Regarding your narrative that we never spoke, I literally just released Charlie and I discussing your partner, Johnny Moore's demonic attack against Crisis King, a convo initiated by Charlie. Those messages are dated back to May 2025. But hey, let's hear Charlie in his own words regarding our friendship, shall we? Here's Charlie, captured August 21st, 2025, 3 weeks before he died. He made it clear on stage that I was his friend and he wouldn't be morally blackmailed against our friendship by people like you. Also, the night before he died, he texted you guys saying he wanted me back at AmFest after your Zionist backers demanded I be put on ice for AmFest 2024. Why did he text Justin and tell him he wanted me back? Do you deny that happened? Those were, again, Charlie's words, one of the last wishes he expressed. So was Charlie lying to his audience and to his team in private conversations because before he died, Andrew, or are you simply a special kind of demon for attempting to rewrite history and convince the world that his real friends were people like Ben Shapiro and the very Zionists he was fighting against for his freedom? Despite the millions of dollars spent, the world sees what is real. Truth cannot be destroyed, neither can Charlie's voice. Here it is. And she reshared that clip that we watched. We already read that text message. So then Andrew said, I was actually with Charlie at this event. We traveled that entire week together. Number one, as Charlie says, he would never allow someone else to morally blackmail him into condemning anyone. I loved that about him. All his clip demonstrates is that he was a gentleman who believed a personal relationship with someone put that person off limits. He's very forceful on that point, but you might have also noticed he's scrambling to defend your very fun opinions that he didn't agree with. Two, and when CK got off stage, the first thing he asked me as we walked to the car was how I felt he handled the Candace answer. He said he knew you'd eventually see the clip and wanted my opinion on how it came across. I told him he handled it well. And then he said the Candace questions are only going to continue to get crazier. The crazier your commentary got, we have to be ready for them. He was walking on eggshells, Candace, because he knew he was one clip away from you turning on him and the org. Hope that helps. I'm not buying that. I don't care what he says. I think he's full of it. So Candace responds. She goes, yeah, I know you were there. You texted me and asked me to push the clip. Remember? If not, I hope this helps. So basically she's saying, hey, if you don't remember you doing this, well, here you go. I'm going to help you. So this is her and Andrew text messages. Hey, FYI, we have a clip of CK defending his relationship with you coming out. He was asked at an event. Again, this is Monday. This is August, this past August. Defending his relationship with you coming out. He was asked at an event why he didn't denounce you. And he was like, because we're actual real friends and I don't appreciate being publicly blackmailed. So pound sand type of response. It was fantastic. She said, amazing. We'll share. So he sends her, it looks like what the clip was going to be. Again, this looks like it's from YouTube. This is a lie. He said, why would I debate Candace? All good, laugh out loud. I don't pay attention to any of that stuff. So maybe that's not the clip. Oh, maybe that's just how it was like labeled. Someone like tried to mislabel it or something. Yeah, just flagging. So you didn't think we were being little bitches about something. Okay. So that's August 28th. So that's what, 2 weeks before Charlie passed away. Okay. Now, again, Andrew keeps going. So she says, Charlie Kirk was worried about speech censorship coming to America under the guise of protecting Jews and anti-Semitism. I know because he texted me about it. Here we go. May 22nd, 2025. Sarah Milgram. Okay. This is like he was sending her, looks like a video clip of something. She put great tweet. He sent praying hands. She said speech censorship, I can't talk today, is coming to America. He says it totally is. Okay. So again, they're talking plenty. Then she says Charlie Kirk was repeatedly under attack from, I don't even want to say these words just because I know people get mad. I don't say certain words the last couple of days, but listen, if I don't, I'm already being shadow, BA, spell out the rest. My channel is not growing. I'm seeing people get unsubscribed out of nowhere. My channel is having a hard time reaching higher subs because I'm being, probably for saying words that I need to either spell. And people are like, oh, that's wrong of you to not say them. And that's crappy. And like, da-da-da-da. Well, you want to know what? If that's the case, I won't have a channel at all. So which is better? To spell, to like let you guys read the screen? I have to protect myself as well. Asked me to defend him where he was wrongly accused of, you know what? I know because he texted me and asked me to tweet about it. His views on the little country began to change after October 7th. He never bought the official story. And then this is her and Charlie talking in July of 2024. Again, he sent her something. Okay, now I've seen everything. She said, LMFAO. Oh my God, ha ha ha. And he said, you got to tweet about it. She said, can't wait to pull this into my new show tomorrow or my show tomorrow. He said, yes, LOL. She said, we'll tweet, laugh out loud, genuinely hilarious. He said, seriously. Again, this is in 2024. So is it, hold on, guys. My mouse is acting crazy. Hold on. What the heck? Okay. It fixed itself. Hold on. All right. So then she said, Charlie Kirk, like many young men, adored Jordan Peterson, but noticed the hypocrisy of his viciousness toward people after October 7th. I know because he texted me about it. We always texted like friends, and we always shared jokes and memes. Zionists will not rewrite Charlie Kirk's history and edit out his true friends. His opinions on, you know what, were changing. He was exploring Catholicism. Sorry. I always told truth. And then this is her and Charlie Kirk's conversation. I'll find a funny meme I saw. And then he said, I don't like Nick, but this is hilarious. And then they were talking about this meme. Again, someone shared that clip. And this was Buckley Carlson said, his Turning Point spends their days heaping poison on Candace rather than our FBI for their inaction, incompetence, and bad lies. She finally reveals the coordinated efforts against her and utilizes Charlie's own words to remind you whom he loved and whom he feared. Bravo. Then Candace put this out. So this is a clip. I'm not sure how many people have seen it. Jesse on Fire, and I believe it is Heavy Duty Country. They did a 30-06 example with cow neck and a steel plate. And I think they used like a phone book, I thought. I'll show you guys this. Hopefully we don't get copyrighted for it. I don't even know if I should put the volume on
now
here.
is because we shouldn't even be having to fucking do this. What do you think, dude?
I think that the likelihood.
Sorry for the
that
language.
The setup, which is going to be harder to get through than a human neck and spine, the likelihood that that stops one of these rounds as we were just shooting this on steel is 1%, if that.
Dustin, are you ready? Okay, folks. So realistically, I should be able to do this on the first shot because fucking Tyler Robinson did this on the first shot. But we're going to see. I don't like my chances, dude.
Jackpot.
All right.
All right, folks. So just so everybody understands.
But yet Charlie had a neck of steel and totally everything was fine. Like, that's crazy.
It blew, oh my God, straight through. There is a bone in here as well. And it completely broke apart the cow femur and continued going.
Yeah, that's.
And we're buying this. It's a 30-06, dude. So Charlie's neck.
No chance.
It's the old war gun, dude. You want this, dude? I'll take it home. Get a grill. Folks, on this one, what we did is we put two porks.
Charlie put himself directly behind Charlie.
Yep.
If it would kill both of them.
We also have a concrete cinder block behind it.
So.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, hang on. Ears.
I'm always worried about ears. I need a hearing aid as it is sometimes, let alone if I didn't have ears on when we went shooting.
Oh my Lord.
Nice fucking shot, guy.
Oh boy.
That's a.
Again, I think it's very clear that that was not what was used on September 10th. I don't know how anyone could say otherwise. I truly, Range Day Bro did a really good video with a dummy.
I'm gonna hit the one with the plate, so just adjust.
As well, that was really good.
That's a fucking direct hit.
Holy fuck, that. I think it broke the
Man
Are
of
we getting
Steel.
are we getting the picture? And this isn't some like store bought. I went to a fucking welding shop to get this. This is legit steel made for shooting rounds. The neck is separated. Okay, it's fucking separated. Do we really?
AKA 30-6 is not what we're looking for. AKA. Candace put, everyone should watch this video of what a 30-6 bullet will do to a cow's neck and a steel plate. Weird. Cows eat pretty healthy too. I agree. How funny is that? And then Stu Peters had shared, Officer Bagley, there was a physical impression in the gravel on top of the Losi Center with a direct line of sight to Charlie. You can't see it in his crime scene photo, but I swear it was there. Kangaroo Court. And Candace had shared that. We can go ahead and share Stu's clip.
And just below that, where you can see the grass and the white tint, is where Charlie Kirk was sitting looking west, and we're on top of the Losi building.
And is this depicting a particular corner of the Losi rooftop?
Yes, it is.
And this is the top rooftop?
Yes.
Is it the same level where we observed the atrium that's to the north?
The atrium's up just a little bit higher. So this is the top level of 4.
Level 4, okay. And what area of the rooftop are we looking at here?
You're looking
as far as the gravel?
Southwest side of the Losi building.
Southwest side, okay. Is there a line of sight down into the courtyard?
Yes, there is.
In that area? Okay. What else do you observe on this exhibit that's significant to you, officer?
There was some disturbance in the gravel right where, and around the area where in the area where the yellow marker is there was some disturbance that caught my eye there.
Okay. And does this photograph do it justice?
No.
And how so?
You can't really see the impression I saw at the time of when I was up there on that day. I saw a distinct impression in the gravel, and this does not show that.
Okay, so you could see more with the naked eye?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So you guys got to see that clip. I didn't clip things. I could have clipped things, but I figured we would just go through things this way today. Hello. Welcome in for everyone that's new. I appreciate you being here. So Candace put, not an influencer campaign from the gates of hell that will convince the public that Charlie's neck stopped this bullet. Okay. And yeah. So during all of this talk, okay, we're gonna go back because this was so funny. You guys, this right here, I have said over and over, I'm like, okay, Blake Neff someone needs to cut his Ethernet cord along with Paramount Tactical. I've always joked about that, right? For a good reason, because there are a lot of people who don't know when to get off the internet or to, again, know when to shut up. Like it's to me, it's not hard to know when to be quiet, to know when to speak on something, to know when not to, read the room. Blake Neff, he has none of that. And he is one of Turning Point's biggest. He's not a help. I'm just going to say that. He is not a help. So when Candace had wrote that previous post that I just read you guys talking about, that they, not an influencer campaign from the gates of hell, because she's talking about how I've talked to you guys about, they've hired all these people to come on and, talk about like, oh, go Turning Point and all these different things, right? They have new speakers and so on and so forth. This is what Blake Neff thought would react her talking about this influencer campaign. So he responds to this. Okay. So she writes this, what I just read you guys, his response. Luckily, we don't need an influencer campaign. We have the medical examiner. Oh my, I was like, no, he didn't. No, he did not write that. He did. So Blake, tell us you paid for someone to be in your back pocket without telling us, okay? Like he thought, oh, well, we didn't pay influencers. Better yet, we have the medical examiner. What on earth did he think? He didn't think someone needed to stop him. What do you guys think in chat? Because when I saw this last night, if it wasn't so late and I wasn't already in my pajamas, I would have did a video just on this alone, and I might do one later because I truly was like, there's no way, there is no way that he looked at that and said, you know what? We don't hire, influencers. We don't need influencers. We have the medical examiner. What did he think that was going to do? Did he think that was going to make people go, oh yeah, there's nothing? What on earth? What on earth? I can't. I truly, I just can't get over it. I don't know. I'm going to be on this for like several days, I think. Tell us your plan without telling us your plan. So now I can't wait for the medical examiner to get up there and tell me that a 30-6 actually did this, because Blake Neff already just told us that they got the medical examiner. They don't need any influencers. They don't need anyone to talk good about Turning Point. What? That doesn't sound good at all. No, it doesn't, Pam. That's what he thought a good response to Candace saying, hey, you guys pay influencers to talk good about Turning Point was, hey, we don't need influencers because we have the medical examiner. That's what he thought. Andrew should lock him in a closet until this is over and feed him like they do in jail through the door, because he cannot be on the internet. I mean, that right there, if people didn't trust Turning Point as it was, if people didn't trust the court at this point, the doctors, the surgeons, whoever, he literally already just put so much mistrust in the medical examiner when everybody was already skeptical about all of it. Congratulations, Blake Neff. He might win Donkey of the Year. Like B96 in Chicago used to have Donkey of the Day. Blake Neff is Donkey of the Century. Literally can't. Yeah, idiots is right. You can't make this shit up. That is how stupid. And then they have Lisa Knows going out there calling everyone else an idiot and stupid. No, Lisa, what's stupid is when you claim that you have the medical examiner in your back pocket. That's pretty stupid. On a tweet that everyone has screenshot. So good luck deleting it because people already have it. But yeah, everyone else is stupid, Lisa Knows. We're all just a bunch of stupid idiots, right? Yeah. Couldn't find I don't even know. So you think it can't get worse than that with Blake Neff? It can. Now that was sensational. I mean, you can't really top that level of like stupidity. But then this came out and I was like, okay, Blake Neff needs to get off the internet round 2. And so who posted this? I can't even remember because I was going through so many different things last night and I was so unhinged about some of this stuff that it was like, yeah. So Wendy, she had clipped this from the Charlie Kirk show because remember, they were going to have all these
Outside the
people there
courthouse.
to talk about, or the experts they were going to interview on their live. Remember all these experts. Well, Graham Allen is not an expert, but whatever. Let's listen to Blake Neff with his magical words here.
Something I didn't see people talking about, and I wonder if you saw it. Did you see people outside the courthouse? Maybe either protesters, people trolling them, trying to make fun of it the way we saw at our women's event, or even maybe
what's the scene outside?
Fringe YouTubers. Yeah, what's it like in the vicinity?
Yeah, so where they have us all entering in at, it's pretty locked down. That there is a little bit of what looks like a parking structure up on top, and you have some news crews that are like, pointing down and things like that. It was mainly just media when we were walking in. I mean, there's a lot of videos on the internet of us walking in to the courtroom and things like that. I didn't see any protesters per se in that exact moment. There were
something I didn't see people talking about, and I wonder if you saw it. Did you see people out?
So basically, Blake Neff, what he was trying to do there was trying to get, which Graham Allen, you guys already know how I feel about Graham Allen if you've been here for a while, to basically be like, oh yeah, people were like protesting outside the courthouse and, you know what I mean? Trying to go after Erica or, you know what I mean? Like poor Erica. So let's just look in the comment section for funsies since we're already here. He was fabricating stories and chomping at the bit for anything. He really was. Oh, thank God that we get a daily brief from the DOW's communications puppet, Graham Allen. Also, there was 0 protesters. Blakey, nice try. Yeah, and he's trying to basically make it seem like people are just like so rude to Erica. Like, oh, they were just so rotten to the widow. Gross, he's so transparent. It sounds like they're trying to figure out if their paid actor showed up. Graham is telling them nicely not to pay them because they didn't show up. I don't know, but thinks TPUSA is full of lavender marriages, allegedly. I can only imagine. Where do they find these beta males? What does that say? I don't know. So I wanted to show you guys those 2 things from Blake. We'll go back to the Candace stuff really quick. Then we're going to try to cover some of today's trial. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys some of the wars that were going on because there were some wars going on, to say the least. So then Candace Aubrey Leitch, she's the one that used to work for Andrew Colvett. If you guys remember, that was fired after the Uber incident. We're going to show you this. She had shown Andrew Colvett and her going back and forth. And then she had posted, oh, did we get a DW press request? More intel. They sent a PR intern named Karina. And she goes into this, but if they come, let's see, I can get the merger. Where are you? I'll explain. Please check in. And they had so she was putting up that. She said, and then Candace posted, oh, I remember this day. Andrew was texting me on a thread with Charlie, mocking the Daily Wire's disastrous PR. Charlie was musing about whether or not the girl Jeremy Boring sent to literally stalk me at their event was actually, we know what that word is. The 3 of us were texting like old friends, mocking the Daily Wire. And I texted Andrew and said, I thought Jeremy had a mental breakdown. Right, Andrew? Or were you just being fake again then? Again, no matter what Andrew says, he's trying to go back on things. He's trying to, she has all this proof. And I don't at this point understand how they don't realize she has all this proof. So why are you keep going? So he goes back and he says, Candace, he was finding things he could connect with you on to placate you when it came to the harder conversations, like, for instance, when you tried to bait Fuentes into a debate by publicly claiming lying. He's saying that Charlie had agreed to debate him after without asking Charlie's permission to do that. He made me deal with you directly. I'm sorry you have to find out this way. She said Charlie was worried about speech censorship coming to America under the guise of protecting Jews from anti-you-know-what. I know because he texted me about it. Here we go again. She's got proof. May 22nd, 2025. This is the one that we were talking about where censorship was coming to America. Okay, and then she also tweeted back to this and said, first it was Charlie never spoke to her. He was afraid. Now it's okay. They spoke and texted often, but Charlie was being fake and trying to placate her. So to be clear, Charlie sent me pictures of him and his son and his daughter in the hospital after birth because he was looking for things to placate me on, ? Or just generally texting me when he was worried because Erica was rushed to the hospital in February of 2024 due to a preterm labor scare, which wound up okay, gratefully, all of that personal stuff to simply placate me. You are a clown. You tried but completely failed to accomplish anything today beyond exposing yourself as a routine liar who gleefully perverts Charlie's legacy to serve your own financial interests. Charlie and me were always friends, and we never stopped speaking, and we always had each other's backs. You are powerless to undo that. And again, he, the more he carries on, she turns around and she's got the proof. She's got the text messages. That's apparent. Anybody who says Candace hasn't brought receipts or Candace hasn't given proof, I don't even know if we're all watching the same thing here, because she's given plenty. And if you look at that stuff and go, hey, that's not a receipt or that's not proof, I'm like, are we on the same wavelength? Like, are we living in the same atmosphere? Like, I don't understand how you could say that. So I'm going to let this play. This is The Force shared this. Here's Charlie defending Candace Owens' false accusations of anti-you-know-what in 2024, a year before they killed him allegedly with a rigged you-know-what. Allegedly, I'm going to say that. I'm going to let this play. I'm going to run to the bathroom.
All balls and strikes where I see it. And Candace, I think it's been super unfair the way some people have been treating you, and really unfair. Because look, I know your heart too. I tweeted this yesterday. Candace Owens flew 18 hours through a brutal European connection to go to the embassy opening in Jerusalem, and we toured Israel together. And you and I were on campuses multiple times together defending Israel and defending the Jewish people. So Candace, let me ask you, because not everyone listens to your show, which is excellent. Everyone should subscribe to her show. And I'm afraid that they are diluting and cheapening the term anti-Semitism the same way they've done with racism.
There's no question that they've diluted it. People are not even blinking now to be called an anti-Semite.
I'll give some advice. Candace Owens is undefeated, everybody. So be careful. Fighting Candace Owens doesn't end well for you. Candace, God bless. We have your back, and have that baby. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Charlie. Such a pleasure to always join.
Thank you.
I call balls and strikes where I see it. And Candace, I think it's been super unfair the way some people have been treating you, and really unfair. Because look, I know your heart too. I tweeted this yesterday. Candace Owens flew 18 hours through a brutal European connection to go to the embassy opening in Jerusalem, and we toured Israel together. And you and I were on campuses multiple times together defending Israel and defending the Jewish people. So Candace, let me ask you, because not everyone listens to your show, which is excellent. Everyone should subscribe to her show. And I'm afraid that they are diluting and cheapening the term anti-Semitism the same way.
Okay. So that was interesting. Again, TPUSA deleted the video. Again, a lot of people have saved things. They've screenshot things. So it's a little too late to try to walk some of this stuff back. It's out there. People have it. I think a lot of people knew that they were going to try to delete things and so on and so forth. And so it's a good thing that a lot of people have saved things. Candace had also posted this. Again, this is talking about what I already showed you guys. We're not going to watch this, but I point out to you guys, the body cam battery died while he was on the rooftop immediately after Charlie was killed. And she said, our government thinks we're stupid and they're lying to us. That battery being dead that's crazy. I mean, could it have gotten, I didn't even know at this point, like, could it get any worse? Like, were they really going to think that was going to go over well? I couldn't believe that. She was talking about the interview with Sean Ryan, how that did. Trying to see if there was anything else. That was okay. So that was about it. I just want to show you guys some of that drama. Now I want to go into a little bit really quick yesterday before we jump into court today and what's going on. If a lot of you guys have watched my video of everyone walking into court. And it got really interesting because I have not seen Tyler Robinson's parents yet. I don't know about you guys, but I found this yesterday. And I know we've heard from Brian Henton, several people saying that, oh, Tyler's parents, have been to the court hearings and so on. I have never seen them. So I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. I didn't even know what they looked like. And I found this clip. Heidi Hatch, KU TV, posted this. And she had said Tyler Robinson's parents are leaving the courthouse. And I just wanted to show you guys his parents because I don't know. I'd never seen them. So this is Tyler Robinson's parents allegedly leaving the courthouse yesterday. So I just figured I would show you guys. For those of you who haven't seen his parents, that is his parents. They were at court, and supposedly they've been at court every time court has gone on. And then we'll just look at the comments really quick. What address to wear for this occasion? Someone said, what is that yellow bracelet? Let's see. Someone said, I got to go to the DMV tomorrow. I sure hope I can find parking and the media circus isn't too much. So I'm guessing the DMV is right there. Just trying to see what else the comment section say. Some people in the comments, these parents did the right thing and turned him in. They are not evil. The evil ones here, sometimes we do our best as parents. Yeah, but there's text messages of them saying they didn't. That it's a different story. So I don't know what to make of that, Again, there's so much conflicting stuff. There was a very interesting interview that was done on Megyn Kelly that I want to show you guys, talking about the ballistics. Okay, so talking more about the gun. Very interesting that I happened to see on X, not something I watched, but I wanted to share with you guys because I thought it was interesting. And again, there's so much out there and there's so much going on right now. So I'm trying to make it easy by grabbing different things and bring it to you guys as we go through court. Again, I want court to kind of like when we were covering the Tyler Robinson trial, like it's better to let things to get going ahead a little bit so that we're not waiting, in other words. So this was posted by Firkin. I cannot pronounce that last name. Bombshell prominent host Mark Aragos exposes a massive cover-up. He reveals the DNA and casings were deliberately planted at the scene to frame the suspect while George Zinn confessed. We're going to say allegedly. He confirms the prosecution is absolutely terrified. The public is going to discover the truth. And we're going to listen to this minute clip.
The defense is going to come right back and they're going to say, of course, his DNA is on that gun. He used that gun before. That was a gun from his house. And of course, there are casings that match it because he wasn't the one who planted the casings. Somebody else threw the casings there. If you've got George Zinn, who's over there confessing and at the front, just coincidentally, you think it's a long stretch to have somebody throw some casings. I mean, none of that. I get the fact that the inconclusive bullet is something that people have run with, but I promise you that the prosecution, and you know this, Matt, that's why he went on to TMZ. He was worried, he is worried that the public has taken that and run with it, and that is that's a significant doubt if you get by the way.
Okay, so there was that one, and then there's going to be another one I'm going to pull up. Another clip from that was interesting. I just have to figure out where I put it. In the meantime, I want to show you this because I totally forgot about this. And this is something good to go over again before we start going back to court. This is going to be about the SD cards. So Jennifer Valentine had clipped this. I forgot to bring this up with you guys about the SD cards. I totally somehow, because I was so focused on other things with court yesterday, I had missed this part. And now I'm like, oh, wow, this is interesting. So she said, Andrew Colvett in Turning Point USA caught in more lies. He originally said that the SD cards were in the possession of the FBI. It's not like he took them and ran off with them because remember, Terrell said he took the SD cards out. The first thing he said, I believe, was that wasn't it that the police told him to or somebody told him to, and then it was Turning Point told him to, or it was flipped around. Turning Point said to, and then the authorities told them to. It's all weird. Again, things change 1,000 times then. And so actually he did run off with them and took them home, did what he wanted with them, then put them on a flash drive before turning them over to authorities. In other words, tampering with crime scene evidence, which has happened a ton here. You can't just walk into a crime scene and take evidence. That's illegal. Also standing on the chair, moving tables. They also removed something off Charlie that they passed around. I mean, who knows at this point? And we all know he took it home because he showed a zoomed in portion of it from his computer to Candace, and he didn't hand over the original evidence. He gave them a flash drive of clips after he had already taken it home, transferred to his computer, and then clipped what he wanted before putting it on the flash drive. He tampered with evidence and should be dealt with accordingly for that. This evidence should never be accepted in trial because now it has been tampered with. This is something that the defense attorney has talked about a lot when it comes to clips and things being used in court and being clipped out of context and not seeing things in their entirety. And, being able to identify if something is, as far as the digital forensic goes, is it actually real? Is it AI? Has it been tampered with? And this is the problem with this case. And so the defense attorney has brought that up plenty of times. So we're going to watch this clip.
By the way, just one other conspiracy theory I just want to snuff out here. One of our dear friends that literally from the very beginning started with us and loved Charlie like a brother. He grabbed the SD cards out of the camera afterwards. And there's all these conspiracy videos about why did he grab the SD cards? Well, first of all, they're in the possession of the FBI. Okay. It's not like he took them and like ran off with them. Second of all, I asked him personally, I said, why did you do that? And he looked at me and this was his answer. He said, because I know people can be evil. And he did not want that footage being grabbed by somebody. There was videos of people after the incident going and stealing hats off the table. I mean, so I'm so grateful he did that. And that was his instinct. He's like, I'm depressed to know that that was why I did that. But I knew that I had to protect that footage because I wanted, I mean, you know, you're recording in like 4K, you know? And so I'm so glad he did that. But Charlie knew the existence of evil. And
Well,
so,
can I say,
yeah.
I think that people.
So that was one portion. Now we're going to go over to the next clip
Impulse,
from the
there
courthouse.
was
So this is the clip from the court. Sorry, I can't make it bigger.
taking coverage of the event, and they provided
Carol
video
Farnsworth.
to us that they had captured on September 10th of 2025.
And do you know who or how that video was collected from Visual Impulse?
Yeah, Mr. Farnsworth originally provided, I believe, a flash drive to Lieutenant O'Brien with one of the local agencies. And a short time after that, on September 10th, he provided downloadable versions, electronic versions to Agent Mortensen. And an 1102 was collected from him on May 6th of 2026.
So an 1102 was prepared by someone.
That
with
means
Visual
he
Impulse.
transferred it.
Yes, Terrell Farnsworth was the individual that prepared it. And in preparation for this, I spoke to him personally regarding that statement.
And do you know what his association is with Visual Impulse?
I believe he's the owner operator or the director of the company.
And then who collected that 1102 statement from Mr. Farnsworth?
It was Agent Mortensen who collected it.
Okay, and you know that because Agent Mortensen told you, or
He
something?
provided it to me. And then, as I mentioned, I subsequently spoke to Terrell Farnsworth personally regarding his statement.
Okay. So there was that. I wanted to show you guys that because I thought that was interesting. Again, the SD cards seeming to, you know, were they tampered with? What was going on? I was under the impression that he took it out and gave that to the feds. Now we're finding out, you know, I figured that whatever he showed Candace was probably something that, again, if it was streamed to headquarters, maybe that was recorded and that's what he was showing Candace, not the SD cards were taken back and then like things were loaded to like a USB and then given to the feds. That's not how they made it seem. So we are learning something new in that instance as well. We are going to one last thing. We're going to look at Sam Parker's list for court as far as we watch the trial hearing, whatever, unfold. What there's no publicly available evidence of, and what you would really want to see and need in order to be able to really take this to trial. Again, everyone's opinions are going to be different. I just wanted to read through this list and then we will check on the hearing and see where we're at today, what's going on with it. I'm going to update to see if we've missed anything. Again, I know that David Hull was on the stand again this morning. They did not finish his testimony yesterday. And I think there were supposed to be 4 different, I believe, police witness testimonies. So he said, as you watch the Tyler Robinson show trial unfold, just remember that there's no publicly available evidence that puts Tyler walking up to the roof of the Losi Center, puts Tyler on the roof of the Losi Center, puts Tyler's gun on the roof of the Losi Center, puts the gun with Tyler on the roof of the Losi Center, puts the gun with Tyler anywhere on campus, proves Tyler's gun was fired by Tyler, proves Tyler's gun was fired from the roof of the Losi Center by anyone, proves Tyler's gun was even fired at all, proves any gun was fired at all from the alleged perch on the Losi Center roof, proves the metal fragments found in Charlie came from a .30-06 round fired from Tyler's weapon, proves the metal fragments match the other unfired rounds found with Tyler's weapon. Tyler wrote the alleged confession letter that Lance Twiggs allegedly found. The note allegedly found by Twiggs even exists outside of a photograph. There is, however, voluminous publicly available evidence that Tyler was in custody well before the alleged Discord confession message was sent, was in custody long before the press conference the evening of September 11th, where law enforcement said the suspect was still at large, was in custody hours before the alleged 33 hours announced by Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, he meant Bongino, Utah Governor Spencer Cox, and Washington County Sheriff Nate Brooksby. Nate Brooksby, who, if you guys do not remember, happened to just randomly decide to retire early not that long ago. Also, during the time in which, not long after that, actually before he retired, that him walking into the sheriff's office to confess video footage went missing somehow. And he said, and there's no publicly available evidence that they recovered the screwdriver on the roof of the Losi Center. So we'll play this clip. Diligent said UVU police officer's body cam battery went in. Oh, we don't need to play that one. Why are all these cameras not working on the Charlie Kirk case? I agree. I thought he was going to talk about the screwdriver that I talked about yesterday. So there's that. So we're missing a lot, and there's a lot of things that they would have to prove. And so far, going through the preliminary, I have not seen anything that would check any of those boxes. So this might be something good for me to hang on to, just to go through that as we go. He retired so he didn't have to lie. I can only imagine. I think there's a reason for why it was Utah. I've talked about this before. There were a lot of things about Utah where that became, that's kind of been a factor in my mind of why we got here. All right, so let's see what the live updates are saying really quick. Sorry, guys. I'm going to go through. Well, actually, we can go and see what the hearing has going on right now, and we'll play it. Actually, we can go back to. Oh, I think this is Charlie's parents arriving right here. We can actually pull this up and watch some of this now that we're like ahead. So again, Tyler's parents were there today. Charlie's parents are there today. There was people talking about how Erica Kirk supposedly had her head on Charlie's mom's shoulder. I have other footage, actually. I showed you guys in the video of Charlie's parents arriving with Stacey Sheridan. I did not get the view that this other person managed to have from somebody who happened to be there. I'm going to share that because Charlie's dad literally like nudged away from Stacey Sheridan. So I hate saying it. I think they look forced in a lot of ways. I think they've been very private. Now all of a sudden there's this public standing together front. I don't know. It looks very unnatural. And let me know if you guys can't hear things really well, but so a lot of people have talked about this girl that just walked by that she's like a Erica Kirk lookalike, to try to confuse people. So this is Charlie's mom and dad. Again, they're walking in. This is today. His mom looks a little bit better today. Looks like she's walking a little bit better. Stacey Sheridan is not with them, to my knowledge, that I can see, like she was yesterday. So that's interesting. Again, Erica Kirk did not go through the front doors yesterday, so I do not believe that today she would be going through the front doors either. She goes through the side door, which is interesting, but here we are. So we're going to go ahead and just go right to where they get Mr. David Hull on the stand. I think it's somewhere probably going to be around here.
Appreciates the cooperation of all present in maintaining a courtroom environment that is safe, respectful, orderly, and faithful to the rights and dignity.
Oh, I'm going to bring this up really quick before we jump into this. A lot of, I do not agree with the cameras not being allowed to see all this stuff. I think that public transparency is so important here. We're not really getting that fully. But I will say this. I do hope that people act appropriately, regardless of how mad we are with this, because we don't want to ruin it to where we get nothing at all. Again, I don't agree with it not being fully transparent. I think we deserve that, but I don't want people to start acting a fool to where we don't even get to see any of this, and ruin it for future situations. We have to be responsible with this. And if we don't like how this goes, personally, I think that our tax money goes somewhere and it pays for public defenders and it pays for trials and all these different things. The taxpayers pay for that. So we deserve the transparency, period, end of story. That's where I lie. But I'm just saying, when you don't like how something's going, it doesn't help a scenario if people go out and act ridiculous. Follow what I'm saying? So be responsible. You don't have to like it. There's a peaceful protest way to go about things. You know, if this does not go great, and we do end up at trial again, every ounce of money that I get from this point forward that is super chatted or people Cash App or Venmo, I'm going to be saving up for trial, because if this does go to trial, I plan to go there to cover it live. I am going to be covering another trial in September. That is going to be the case with where the stepbrother killed the stepsister on the cruise ship. I will be attending that trial. Those are going to be long days. But I do plan to cover the Tyler Robinson one in person. It's going to require lots of travel. It's going to require long hours to get in line to be able to get into the courtroom. With Carmelo Anthony and stuff, people were lining up at, 3, 4 in the morning getting to the courthouse. So, but it's something I really want to do. I've covered this case from day one. And so, I will be saving every penny for trial costs in order to be able to bring the transparency to everyone. So we'll continue watching this.
Of every person involved. Turning now to counsel. Before we begin, I wish to acknowledge the professionalism, civility, and competence demonstrated by counsel for both the defense and prosecution. Acknowledges that the exclusionary rule is in effect at this
one. I'd asked you a moment ago if you'd reviewed that exhibit.
Yes, I have.
Okay. And would you just remind us what that exhibit consists of?
It's a compilation of videos that were part of the overall footage that was obtained from the Utah Valley University as part of the investigation.
And does that compilation video, from your point of view, capture Mr. Robinson arriving to and visiting the UVU campus?
It does, yes.
On September 10th through the 11th, 2025?
Correct.
Okay. And again, I asked you this question yesterday, but did you prepare that video compilation?
I did not.
Okay. Do you know who did?
The Utah County Attorney's Office.
Does that video, and I'm referring to 12.1 exhibit, State's Exhibit 12.1, does it include all of the footage collected by the SBI from UVU?
It does not, no.
Does that video, again, 12.1, include all of the footage you collected from UVU that captures who you believe is Mr. Robinson walking around campus?
Not all of the footage, no.
You reviewed this compilation with Mr. Olson, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And in its entirety?
Yes.
And he actually, and then you collected an 1102 statement from him?
I did, yes.
And I believe that has actually been admitted into evidence as State's Exhibit 12.3. Did Mr. Olson refer to that exhibit 12.1 in his statement?
He did, yes.
Okay. 12.3. I'm going to put on your monitor State's Exhibit 12.3, and I asked that you scroll down towards the very bottom. And I would ask that you read from the statement specifically what Mr. Olson said about State's Exhibit 12.1. And I want to narrow your focus. So I'm going to draw your attention about 3/4 down the page. There's a sentence that begins on the left margin, I have reviewed. Do you see that?
I do, yes.
Okay. Would you please read that sentence?
I have reviewed State's Exhibit 12.1, and the recordings are true and accurate, including timestamps, dates, and camera labels. The only changes are some zooms and red highlights, which were not part of the original recording.
Yeah.
Have you,
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't know if you wanted me to continue.
No, that's good enough. Have you had a chance? Well, you review the raw footage yourself. Is that correct?
How are you finding the time to send over?
So again, this is David Hull that is being questioned. They started off this morning. He was testifying yesterday as well about the surveillance videos and about the footage gathered during the investigation. He also talked about the weapon, DNA, things like that. The lawyer is asking Hull about a compilation video that includes, again, clips from several videos. The prosecution team wanted to introduce the compilation as evidence yesterday, but the judge had declined after the defense team said the prosecution had not established foundation in order for that to be brought in. The process of establishing foundation for evidence basically includes having someone testify about what exactly an item is, including the authenticity and relevance of it, in order for it to be allowed in. So there's that. So we'll continue with this a little bit. Oh, sorry, guys. Let me go back here.
Had a chance to review what's been marked as State's Exhibit 12.4.
Yes,
Okay, and when did you review that exhibit?
this morning
And who did you review that exhibit with?
with Kimberly Durfler.
Okay, was there any conversation about that exhibit?
No, I was just shown the video.
Okay. Nobody asked you questions or suggested anything to you?
They did not know.
Did you prepare that exhibit?
I did not.
Do you know who did?
The Utah County Attorney's Office.
All right. And I'm referring specifically to what's been marked State's Exhibit 12.4. What is depicted in that video?
That video is, again, a compilation of videos from the overall footage that was obtained from Utah Valley University for September 11th and September 12th.
And how does it compare to what's been marked as State's Exhibit 12.1?
It appears to be the same footage. However, on this particular version, there were no circles or blurs that had been made to the video.
How about zooming in and zooming out?
No, there was no zooming or zooming out.
Does it appear to be identical to the raw footage that you've seen that portrays this particular part of the UVU surveillance video?
It does, yes.
Judge, the state would move to admit what's been marked State's Exhibit 12.4.
Your Honor, we just object to the publication of this for all the reasons we argued yesterday. We think this video is going to play a big role in the trial, and to allow the public to see it now would seriously impact our ability to get a fair trial, and we're asking the court not to publish it.
Thank you. And Mr. Sturgill, and to all counsel, as it will apply to all counsel, when you are moving a piece of evidence, it's the three parts, whether admissibility into the record, to be published in the courtroom, and captured by the media. So Mr. Sturgill, as it's your request, what are you requesting?
First of all, clearly I moved to admit the exhibit. I'd ask, and Judge, the presumption is that this is a public record and should be published. And so the state's position is that it should be published here in the courtroom, and it should be published in such a way that the media can capture it on video.
All right. You may, if you would approach the lectern, please, and state your name.
I'm David Ryman. I represent the news media. I didn't make an appearance because the news media technically aren't parties, but as you know, they do have the right to be heard on issues like this, and I've tried to keep that to a minimum. But since this is the first one coming up today, I thought it might be helpful to just address it again. There is a presumption not just that it be published in the courtroom, as we talked about yesterday, because the participants or the spectators in the courtroom have a right to know what the court is viewing so that they can understand how you're making your decision. This seems like a very important piece of evidence. It doesn't seem like there is a basis to keep the people who are in the courtroom today from understanding why it's being introduced. It is not like the videos yesterday, and my understanding at least is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we didn't object to the videos that weren't published yesterday that were graphic. We didn't object to the non-publication of the autopsy report. The argument here that Ms. Nestor just made is this seems really relevant, and that is precisely why it needs to be public. With the last thing I'll address is just EMC. There is a presumption, it's a rule presumption, not a constitutional one, that EMC is allowed. And I think that for all of the reasons that we've briefed this for your honor, several different ways, there needs to be a really good reason why. If it's being published in a public proceeding in the courtroom, it should not also be allowed to be published to the media. So
we're going to turn the speed up a little bit to move this along.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sturgill, do you wish to respond or perhaps give a little bit more detail on what this video purports to show?
Well, do you want me to proffer that, Judge, or have the witness?
I'll defer to you.
Okay. Well, first of all, if I could take one step back, let me ask you, I may have misheard, but let's just be clear about this.
I'm going to pause this for a second. So it was also brought out that some of the courthouse windows were shrouded. And what that means is that yesterday this was not the case, but they have appeared to put some kind of black plastic sheeting over the windows on the 4th floor of the courthouse where the preliminary hearing is taking place. I'm guessing they are having issues probably with, I mean, you would think the 4th floor, like it wouldn't be a thing, but apparently that was something that they made sure to do today to apparently keep out anybody from being able to see through these windows. Also, they were saying that there were spectators camping out overnight to attend the hearing today. I don't think that was as much of an issue yesterday as it was today. Yesterday, the parking lot looked a lot more empty and things like that. And there's only 14 seats available to the public today. So I think yesterday there was a few more than that. I do know that if you are able to get into the courtroom, and let's say Erica Kirk or somebody would leave for the day and turn in a pass, that pass cannot go to someone new. So they are being very strict about people being allowed in the courtroom at this point. And you cannot give your pass to someone else. It is not being handled the way they do in other trials, just for you guys to be aware of how that works. They did say that, so there were 2 reporters, I believe the 2 reporters, Danae Branch and Jean Rivera, were among the first people lined up outside the courthouse around midnight, trying to snag one of the 14 seats available to the public. The Utah County residents camped out overnight Tuesday, both wearing merchandise from Charlie Kirk's podcast after they did not get seats inside on Monday. Okay, so they're not reporters, they're just members of the public. They were in the crowd at Kirk's event at UVU when he was killed, and both said they think about it every day. It feels like a lot of the world just kept spinning, and we're still dealing with the trauma of it. Branch said our hearts and minds are still trying to process it. And yeah, it kind of helps being here. Rivera said she hoped to hear testimony about defendant Tyler Robinson's alleged confession note. I do want to point out that there are a lot of people that have talked about the fact that they want to be in the courtroom because, you know, there's a lot of mistrust here for right reasons, and that's why they're camping out. So it's not so much about the publicity of it. It's about the fact that there are a lot of people out there that believe, just like I think several of us believe, that we are not being told the truth, and that they feel that if they cannot be in that courtroom, that they will never get to the truth, which is, again, why it's so important to have this transparency that we're not getting. So yeah. Let's continue to listen.
Video, the compilation video, it includes video surveillance from UVU campus from what dates?
September 10th, 2025 into the morning of the 11th, 2025.
And if you wouldn't mind just describe in a bit more detail what this compilation includes.
The compilation shows the movements of the individual believed to be Mr. Robinson on Utah Valley University campus, arriving and leaving in a vehicle, arriving and leaving on foot, and then returning and leaving, and then attempting to gain access again in a vehicle. And his movements throughout the day are included in the videos also.
Is there any footage of the alleged shooting?
There is not, Judge.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Ms. Nestor, given that additional information and anything further from defense.
Mr. Burt's he's the one who's been litigating all of the First Amendment issues. If he could address Mr. Ryman's argument.
Yes, Mr. Burt, if you wouldn't mind coming forward.
Judge, I wanted to clarify one argument that was made by counsel for the media yesterday, and that was the rules, the rule 4-202.02 does not apply to the situation we're in right now, and that is wrong. The rule says that this rule applies to the judicial branch, and 4-202.02J says the judge may regulate or deny access to exhibits to ensure a fair trial. So I think that rule does apply to our situation, and the Supreme Court in the Algier, ALLGIER case, 258 Pacific 3rd, 589, applied the rule in the context of an evidentiary exhibit. And I know the court has not mentioned, since counsel made that argument, this particular rule, but I think it does apply here. And also applicable is the Supreme Court's decision in the Kearns case, which we talked about when we argued the motion for denying access to the cameras. And that case, Kearns versus Tribune Corporation, 685 Pacific 2nd, 515, says that the standard the court ought to apply in determining whether an exhibit at a preliminary hearing should be sealed is one of a, quote, realistic likelihood of prejudice. And we rely on the evidentiary showing we've made in connection with our motion to exclude cameras that there is a realistic likelihood of prejudice in this way. The court knows and has access to the media coverage up to the time when we litigated the motion concerning closing this hearing to the cameras. And the court knows that one feature of the media coverage has been a very pro-prosecution bias of every story that has been published on this account. The court also knows from that coverage that information is being widely disseminated, and you have found in connection with the shackling issue that the publicity in this case is likely to reach jurors who will be part of our jury pool. And we've also submitted to the court a public opinion survey, which shows that the prejudicial publicity that the media has already generated in this case has affected the jury pool. And so those are all factors the court can point to and rely on and conclude that publication of this particular exhibit should not be allowed because there is a realistic likelihood of prejudice to Mr. Robinson's right to a fair trial. So under that standard and under the rule, the court ought to deny publication.
Thank you, Mr. Burt.
Thank you.
Any final argument from the parties before the court issues its ruling?
Your Honor, can I be heard on that briefly?
Yes, you may.
Thank you, Your Honor. David Ryman. I just wanted to clarify. I don't know that Mr. Burt and I necessarily disagree about what he said about the rule. What we were talking about yesterday was something different. That is the portion of the rule that classifies records that are in the court file. It's not the same as what happens in a public hearing. And Mr. Burt referenced the portion of the rule that essentially just tracks the constitutional standard, which of course, controls here as to whether in this public proceeding, it can be closed in any way, and non-publication of exhibits as a form of closure. So I don't necessarily disagree. I would just underscore a lot of what Mr. Burt has said has been briefed ad nauseum at this point. Their position that publicity is incompatible with a fair trial. The Algier case he mentioned, I know that case. I litigated that case. It involved a confession that the court found public because you have so many other tools to seat a fair and impartial jury. And we have cited that case repeatedly, and so has Your Honor, I think, recognized it in your ruling, saying pretrial publicity can coexist with the defendant's right to a fair trial. So the last thing I'll say is just that the constitutional standard that I think we're all agreeing applies here is weighty and difficult to overcome. And it is never satisfied, as we've explained, by just generalized assertions that there's a lot of publicity out there. It's got to be something really specific, and they just haven't made that showing. And I certainly don't think that a video that apparently just shows the defendant walking around the UVU campus qualifies.
Thank you. Anything further?
From the state, no, but I think I'd like to be crystal clear. You asked if there's any portion of this video that captures, and I believe you asked of the actual shooting. There's no video of that. There is video, however, and you've heard testimony related to this, where the shooter goes to the top of the low-C building, goes out to the edge of the building, low crawls, and then leaves after what we assume is the shot being fired. That's as close as it gets. I don't know if that makes a difference, Judge. I just wanted to make the record clear, and I want to be crystal clear with Your Honor.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Clarification as it is guiding for this court and making its ruling. I turn to Utah. Well, let me pull this up. So Rule 4-202.02. I go down to, well, first it says statement of the rule. 1, presumption of public court records. Court records are public unless otherwise classified by this rule. 2, public court records include but are not limited to. I'm going to go down to 2J, exhibits that the judge may regulate or deny access to ensure the integrity of the exhibit, a fair trial, or interests favoring closure. And the court recognizes the importance of the constitutional rights of Mr. Robinson being upheld and protected. At the same time, the court also recognizes the importance of transparency and a proper balance to ensure that the constitutional rights of all parties are upheld. As it relates to this exhibit, I believe it's 12.4. Based off the representation of what is in that, the court differentiates this exhibit from the exhibits from yesterday, namely Exhibit 7, Exhibit 8, and Exhibit 9, as those are different in nature. And those go to issues relating to Utah Constitution, Article 1, Section 28, as it relates to the Declaration of the Rights of Crime Victims. And the court also recognizes Utah Rule of Evidence 1102, as that is the foundation that's being laid for the admission of this exhibit. Having taken in consideration all factors, the court rules that Exhibit 12.4 is admitted into evidence and shall be played in the courtroom and may be broadcast by the media. We can proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Agent Hall, before we actually watch State's Exhibit 12.4, I have just a few questions. Yesterday, you testified at the very beginning of your investigation that you focused on the video that captured the shooter on the top of the low-C building. Is that correct?
Yes.
I believe you also testified that you began by working your way, and this is what I remember you saying, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you in essence testified that you began with that video and you started working your way backward and forward with the UVU surveillance video in an effort to trace the shooter's steps on campus. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Would you mind explaining in a little bit more detail what you meant by that, tracking forward and backward on that video?
Yeah, we had a known when the shooting occurred, and as the officer testified, there was a video of an individual on the roof at the time of the shooting. And so the philosophy that we applied was to take what we knew and then work that forward through the timeline and backwards through the timeline to try and establish where the individual had gone from the rooftop or how the individual had come to be on the rooftop.
And did that, for lack of a better term, did that bear fruit?
It did,
you
yes.
actually see from at least in part where he came from and where that shooter went?
Yes, more so where he came from. It was very limited after the fact.
You testified yesterday that in reference, I believe, to what's Mark States Exhibit 21, that you believe Mr. Robinson visited campus at least 4 times on the 10th and the 11th.
Correct.
And I think you reaffirmed that today.
So that's where I believe they're saying that the the photos are from different days of Tyler Robinson is where they were coming from, that he had like scouted this out. Again, they all look like different people, different outfits, different, everything's different. I'm not buying it. The jawline, the mouth, the nose, all these different things. Again, we're not going to stay on here too long. I know Trigger Smart and Valhalla are doing live. There's a lot of bigger channels doing lives covering this. And so I'm not going to stay on too long. Just because I know that those channels are very busy, and I think a lot of people are going there for the live trial. So I don't want to harp on this too long.
Did you do the same attempt, that is, to track Mr. Robinson through UVU surveillance video during each of those 4 visits?
Yes.
Or those other 3 visits, I guess.
Yes, on each occasion, we attempted to follow the movements of the individual throughout campus.
And did you in fact see Mr. Robinson on campus in surveillance video that is not included in State's Exhibit 12.4?
Yes, there is additional footage of him on campus, yes.
Okay. I'm going to have displayed on your monitor. What you're going to see is a paused or a still image. And I'm going to ask if you recognize what you see that now, Agent Hall?
I do, yes.
Okay. Do you recognize what's displayed on your monitor?
Again, they said that they were not going to show the cameras and even people in the courtroom these images. It's just going to be something that goes to the lawyers, whoever the witnesses are, and the judge. So we're not going to basically see probably much of anything.
Yes, it's footage from the university that was provided to us, particularly of the parking structure.
Okay. Does it appear to be State's Exhibit 12.4?
It does, yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have this video run. And if you don't mind, as it's running, I'm probably going to be asking you some questions. And so this video has no audio, is that right?
No, there's no audio on the cameras.
Okay.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways.
We'll do like 5 more minutes and then we'll hop off here.
Let's go ahead and put it on all screens. No, I appreciate it. It is so it is admitted and may be published to the screens. And just want to make sure it's on your screen, Agent. All right. All right, Mr. Sturgill, you may proceed.
Appreciate that, Judge. Thank you. Go ahead. Okay, what are we seeing here, Agent Hall?
That's the vehicle that is believed to belong to Mr. Robinson arriving in the parking garage on campus.
Okay, what time in the morning? What time of the day?
It's approximately 8:30 in the morning on September 10th, 2025.
And what leads you to believe this particular vehicle belongs to Mr. Robinson?
Information that was provided regards to driver's license and Department of Motor Vehicle records. The vehicle fits the description of a vehicle owned by Mr. Robinson.
Is there anything unique about that vehicle that stands out to you?
The shape of the vehicle is very distinct, but predominantly the wheels were very distinctive on this version of the vehicle.
Now what do we see?
The driver of the vehicle exits the vehicle and then walks on foot to exit the parking garage. It's the individual in the red t-shirt and the shorts and the shoes.
And do you believe you recognize who that person is?
Yes.
Who is that?
I believe that's Tyler Robinson.
All right, and where does he go from there?
He heads out of the parking garage on foot into the campus and actually goes to the quad area of the campus. At that time, he makes contact with some representatives from TPUSA.
By quad area?
Sorry, the amphitheater is what I previously referred it to.
So he goes up on campus, visits the amphitheater area, the courtyard or quad.
Correct.
And then what do we see here now?
He returns on foot back to the same vehicle.
And what time is he returning back to the vehicle?
It's about 9:25 a.m.
And where is this parking structure located on campus?
It's just off of Campus Drive. It's a short walk from the amphitheater.
What do we see now?
That's the vehicle exiting with Mr. Robinson driving the vehicle.
Now what do we see?
This is Mr. Robinson returning to the campus on foot from the neighborhood to the northeast. You can see he's wearing the same clothing as in the previous video, and he's carrying a blue backpack.
Describe the clothing.
It's a maroon colored t-shirt with gray or olive colored shorts and then Converse shoes.
And what time did he return to campus?
Just after 10 a.m.
And does he leave the parking structure eventually?
He does, yes.
Okay. And during this visit, do you know where he goes after he leaves the parking structure?
Yes, we were able to track his movements on campus. He went to Chick-fil-A in the Sorensen building and purchased some food, sat and ate the food. Then, I'm sorry.
Where did he purchase the food from?
Chick-fil-A in the Sorensen Center.
And where is that in relation to the amphitheater or the courtyard?
It's kind of on the northeast side of the amphitheater. It would be on the upper back edge of the amphitheater, furthest away from where the tent was that Mr. Kirk was in.
And from there, where does he go?
From there.
Again, I don't think, especially yesterday into today, there's really not a lot of new information. Granted, I mean, it's only a day and a half at this point. Again, Utah is behind us by a couple hours, well, behind me rather than in Florida, a couple hours. So there's not really a whole lot that we're learning that's new. And I don't think anything's been brought out that's so damning and against Tyler Robinson, if I'm being honest. So I don't know. I mean, do I think it's probably going to go to trial? Probably. But I don't really think I've heard or seen anything that makes me feel that there's just like all this probable cause evidence. Again, this is also blurry and grainy. I mean, they say the DNA on the gun matches his DNA. But again, there's also other DNA on the gun. And again, you have to prove that that weapon was actually used, which they can't. Everything is inconclusive. So I don't really know how this is really going to go.
He moves across campus, out across Campus Drive into a wooded area on what would be kind of the northeast side of Campus Drive. Then returns back onto campus. We noticed at this point that he's no longer carrying the backpack that he was originally wearing. He moves through the Gunther building and the computer science building. And then, I'm sorry?
And then goes where?
Then goes across to the railing that gives access to the roof of the Losi building.
From there?
From there, he comes back down the stairs and walks off campus from that point.
And about what time was that he left campus that second time? Do you know?
I believe it was approximately 11 a.m. or just after, if I recall. I could verify from my notes if you need an exact time.
Yeah, if you don't mind. That'll help you remember, refer to it. Don't read it out loud. Let me know when you've had a chance to look at that, would you? Were you able to refresh your memory as far as the time?
I was, yes.
And what time was it?
It was just prior to 11 a.m. when he walked off campus.
Okay. And before we go any further, the parking structure that he left initially, where is that parking structure in relation to the LDS Institute building?
I'm sorry, in relation to?
The LDS Institute building on campus?
I think it would be just to the north of the LDS Institute building, if I recall.
Do you recall whether it was adjacent to the LDS Institute?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. What do we see displayed here now? Go ahead.
This is a video of Mr. Robinson returning back to campus the same way that he did previously on foot.
And this takes just a moment. And why, well, let me ask you this. You believe this is Mr. Robinson returning to campus?
I do, yes.
Okay. And why do you believe it's Mr. Robinson?
The shoes are the same, and the images that we have from my viewing and seeing Mr. Robinson on the video, it's the same person.
He's noticeably wearing different clothing.
He is wearing different clothing, and he also is walking with a gait or a limp in this video.
With a gait or what?
A limp.
Okay. Now what do we see?
So this is Mr. Robinson coming up the stairs of the parking structure. Again, he seems to be having issues walking.
Again, you can't prove that that's him. I mean, you can't clearly see a face. You know what I mean? The clothing matching a description, but again, I mean, we've seen several people wear, maroon shirts or so on and so forth. So you can guess that that's him, but it does not prove it's him. I just, there's a lot of issues with this for me.
And again, we're able to track Mr. Robinson when he leaves this parking structure.
Yes, we were able to.
Okay. So when he leaves the parking structure, where does he go?
He comes up around Campus Drive, as you can see on the video here. There's a cut through there north of the Losi building, and that's Mr. Robinson coming up the sidewalk. He has the noticeable gait or limp in his walk. And then he moves south across the front of the Losi building.
On the sidewalk?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
He would be the rear of the two individuals in this particular video.
So right now, if you were to break this picture into quadrants, where would he be?
He would be in the top left quadrant, walking to the left of the image.
Now what do we see?
This is an image looking across the parking lot to the Losi building, and Mr. Robinson is appearing on the exterior staircase, which gives access to the Losi building roof and the area where the railing was.
And again, let's break that image into quadrants. Where would he be located if you broke it into quadrants?
It's in the top right, and the individual can be seen moving under the notations that are on the video.
Okay. And what time is this?
It's just afternoon, about 12:15.
On what day?
On September 10th, 2025.
Okay. What just happened, or what did we just see happen?
The individual actually kind of rolls over the railing onto the roof of the Losi building.
All right.
And again, in the top left corner, the individual is now seen running across the rooftop of the Losi building to what would be the southwest corner of the building, crouching down and then crawling to the corner of the building.
And this is at what time?
Around 12:23. I think the timestamp on the video is 12:22.
On the 10th?
On September 10th, yes,
So we're
2025.
clear, this is the roof of the Losi building.
Correct.
Can you still see that individual?
Yes, you can, laying prone.
You believe this to be Mr. Robinson?
I'm sorry?
You believe this to be Mr. Robinson?
I do, yes.
And how long is he out there on the edge of the building?
Just until the reported shot was fired at 12:23 and 28. The individual then stands up and then moves across the building to the north.
Is that what we're seeing happening right now?
It is, yes. And they move behind the atrium area on the rooftop, to the northeast corner where the white triangle is.
Do you see Mr. Robinson now?
I do, yes. He's just arriving at the corner of the building, almost the top center of the image.
What are we seeing now?
And Mr. Robinson lowering and jumping off of the roof of the Losi building onto the grass area, and then moving away towards Campus Drive. And he appears to be carrying some kind of an object in his hand at this time.
So he's approaching,
Campus Drive.
and again, broken into quadrants. Where is he currently?
In the top right quadrant.
And the time?
It's 12:24 and 42 on the timestamp.
What do we see now?
He then crosses Campus Drive and drops down into the wooded area on the far side of Campus Drive.
And that is located in what part of the video? What quadrant?
It would have been just off center on the top left side.
What do we see now?
This is the intersection of Campus Drive and 800 South. There's a vehicle attempting to turn right onto Campus Drive. That's the vehicle that's driven by Mr. Robinson.
And on the screen, where is that vehicle that you're referring to located? If you broke it into quadrants.
It's on the left side, on the upper side, the upper quadrant.
Now what do we see?
That vehicle is now pulling away and heading east on 800 South.
And why do you believe that vehicle is Mr. Robinson's vehicle?
When that vehicle was stopped, it actually made contact with an officer who was doing security detail.
And do you know who that officer is?
Officer Goforth.
Okay. And do you know which department he works for?
Spanish Fork Police.
And did you have a conversation with Mr. Goforth regarding this interaction at that intersection?
I did, yes.
Okay. And what time was that interaction? I'm sorry, did I ask you that?
It was approximately 12:30 a.m.
On the 11th?
On September 11th, 2025.
So you talked to Officer Goforth about that contact on the corner on that, or during, I guess during the early morning hours of the 11th.
Correct.
And what did
I saw a couple supers come in. I'll read those at the end.
Officer Goforth tell you about that interaction?
It was an interaction that, I guess cop intuition, but it was something about the interaction that made him make a note of the license plate of the vehicle. And then subsequently, when information was available that vehicle or a vehicle matching the description of that was involved in the incident, he ran the information that he had obtained from the stop and was able to identify that it was registered to Mr. Robinson. And he had in fact had contact with Mr. Robinson on the morning of September 11th, 2025.
The information that he ran, did you know information? When you say that, he ran information.
Yes, he ran a partial plate.
Okay. A license plate?
Correct.
And based on that partial license plate, he was able to identify the owner of that vehicle?
Yes.
Did he tell you who the owner of that vehicle was?
He did, yes.
Okay. And who did he tell you that it belonged to?
So there were two registered owners of the vehicle, Tyler Robinson and an Amber Robinson.
Did he say anything about the person that he actually interacted with?
Yes, it was a male that he believed to be Tyler Robinson.
Let's return again to what's been marked State's Exhibit 12.1. Again, you've reviewed that video.
Yes.
And the difference between 12.1, or what's been marked as State's Exhibit 12.1, and 12.4 are, if I understand you correctly, are these enhancements that we've been talking about.
Yes.
And specifically, what be specific about the enhancements, and let's go one at a time.
Okay.
I think there's a reference to either red circles or red highlights. I think
Correct.
That's how Mr. Olson described it. Red highlights.
Yes.
Do you know what he's? Or what is he referencing by the red highlights, or what do you believe he's referencing?
I believe he's referring to red ovals or circles that were placed over the image to identify specific individuals of note.
And these red circles are they permanent red circles? Are they temporary?
I'm
different.
I would assume they are temporary. I'm not very technological, but I believe they would be overlaid over the image.
And this is a bad question. What I mean by that is do they appear and disappear quickly, or do they linger or last for a period of time?
They're there for a notable period, but I believe they come off the video.
All right. And other than, well, and you said that the circles, what do the circles do?
They identify an area or a person of interest within the video.
And other than do that, do the circles or the highlights, do they do anything with regards to the video itself, as far as its accuracy?
Not to my knowledge, no.
I think the next enhancement that has been mentioned that we've talked about is there's some blurring.
Yes.
Do you know what that? Tell us what that is. What blurring do you see in what's been marked as State's Exhibit 12.1 that you now don't see in 12.4?
If I recall, there were some individuals in the parking garage footage, and their faces were blurred.
Is anything other than faces being blurred?
Not that I recall, no.
And how often do you see the blurring throughout the video?
I believe it's just in the original sequence in the parking garage.
The other than the blurring, does the blurring, other than obviously blur out part of the image, does it change or impact the accuracy in your mind of that part of the compilation video?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And then the last thing is, I believe, is there's some zooming in and zooming out that's in 12.1 that has been removed.
Yes.
From 12.4. What can you tell us about the zooming in and the zooming out?
Predominantly, it's an area that was referred to as viewing the Losi building rooftop. I believe it focuses on the area where Mr. Robinson comes up the stairs and onto the rooftop. Those portions of that particular footage were zoomed in for clarity.
Other than zooming in and zooming out, does at least that enhancement to the video, does it change the content of the video?
No.
The accuracy of the video in your mind?
No.
Okay. Are the enhancements in State's Exhibit, well, it's been marked as State's Exhibit 12.1, are they helpful in any way, or what do they add or take away from the video?
I think for people who are not familiar with the area and what's trying to be shown, they are now an opportunity for people to look at an individual who we believe to be Tyler Robinson, and also specific movements with more clarity than the original focal point gives.
So let's talk about the zooming in and the zooming out. It sounds like it's specific to the Losi rooftop, if I understand you correctly.
Yes.
Okay. And I think we've all watched that exhibit.
Correct.
Before. And although you can see Mr. Robinson and his movements, is it fair to say that it's difficult to really see what's going on?
That would be fair, yes.
Right. And the
Okay, so it's like I told you guys, it's very boring to listen to this testimony again. I don't think any of it is a major breakthrough to prove that this is Tyler Robinson. He just said it's fair to say that it's difficult to know. We'll see if they're almost ready for lunch break, and then we'll hop off here. I'm guessing that lunch break should be relatively soon at this point. So let's just see how far this goes.
version that's in 12.1, does it facilitate at least that part of the video, seeing Mr. Robinson and tracking, I guess, his steps?
I believe so, yes.
So at this point, I think in combination with yesterday, the foundation that was laid yesterday, including the written statement from Mr. Olson, which has been admitted into evidence and is, it's already been admitted to evidence. We believe there's enough foundation that at this point, we also ask the court to admit what's been marked State's Exhibit 12.1. We think it would be beneficial for Your Honor to view it.
Ms. Nestor.
Thank you, Your Honor. We renew our authenticity objection, and we also object to for admission purposes. And then we also object to the publication for the same reasons, the fair trial issues that we raised with the unaltered version that was just submitted.
And Judge, sorry, I neglected to mention the other two. Again, Judge, we believe that the presumption is that this is a public record, that it should be not only admitted, but it should be published here in the courtroom, and it should be published in such a way that the media can have access to it.
All right. I do have a question, and just directing your attention to the Utah Rule of Evidence 403, to the last phrase, the last 4 words in that. Do you wish to address
Again,
that?
please be sure to like the live for me,
Yes.
guys. If you're in here, it helps the channel. I appreciate you guys being here. This is probably going to go to lunch soon. And actually, it doesn't A couple more minutes.
I'm gonna have to look at 403 specifically for those last.
Well,
four
I
words,
can
unless you
read,
wanna share that
I
with
can
me.
read that. Or
Okay, go ahead and
needlessly
read that.
presenting cumulative evidence. So the court may, let me just read the whole rule for completeness. The court may exclude relevant evidence if its probative value is substantially outweighed by a danger of one or more of the following: unfair prejudice, confusing the issue, misleading the jury, undue delay, wasting time, or needlessly presenting cumulative evidence. I'm not looking at anything else other than that last portion. I recognize there is no jury. I am the magistrate. I am the fact finder, but just addressing that last point of Rule 403.
Right. Judge, well, I don't believe that the evidence is cumulative. I think that each of the two videos, although they portray basically the same footage, there's characteristics of the one that has been enhanced that I think makes it easier for Your Honor to truly see what's going on, and for the public to see what's going on. And we've displayed 12.4 on the video, and unless you have very, very, very good vision or you've zoomed in on that monitor, you really can't see what Agent Hull has just described. The character of 12.1 is it enhances that at least important parts of that exhibit, and it just makes it easier to see, not only by Your Honor, but also by the public. And specifically as it relates to the zooming in and the zooming out.
Okay. Anything further from the parties as it relates to 12.1? All right, well, I will admit 12.1 into evidence, but as it relates to playing it in the courtroom or on the
Your next breakdown could cost thousands.
Unless.
Well, as the fact finder, I will look at the evidence and weigh it as a magistrate is required to do, but I do not find it is, I don't find it's necessary to replay this video, given the representation that's the exact same video, the difference being enhancements made. If it was different in any way, or if it added to or subtracted from, that would be one factor. But because it's simply the same video, simply zooming in with circles or notations, the court does not find that the interest of justice requires it being played again. But it is received into evidence and will be reviewed by myself in determining the probable cause determination.
And I appreciate that, Judge. And just so we're clear, State's Exhibit 12.1 has been admitted.
It is received into evidence, yes.
And your intent is to review it in its entirety, but not here in the courtroom.
Yes.
Can I make one suggestion, Judge, or maybe one request? I believe the most.
Okay, so we're going to stop it there. Again, we're going to have to see how this goes. I don't think that any of this is proving that Tyler Robinson for sure did this. So I'll be interested to see how the rest of the today goes. I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to eat. I'm going to stretch a little bit and take care of myself, just because for those of you that know, I'm still recovering. I just wanted to hop on here and do a little bit of live coverage, along with I'll be posting video updates at the end of the day on how the rest of the day went, and just overviews as well for people who don't want to sit through the lives, because the lives are long. I can't decide if I want to go live with this every day in the morning. I do, but part of me is like, there's so many people going live on this. I don't know if it's good or bad to be live on this every day, just because there's, again, so many streamers going live during court. So I don't know what the best thing to do is, if I should just only do posting and continue with my regular posts, or if there's, what do you call it? A demand to go live or what? I don't know. I haven't decided what the best thing to do is. So I'm still going to try to figure that out. I'll always post in the community area to remind you guys. I'll just say, I guess, plan to be live tomorrow. Maybe we'll start a little bit later. We'll start at like 11:30 Eastern time. I'll let you guys know if that's going to change, but it'll always pop up a reminder when I do schedule the live that I'm going to be live. But those of you that want to be here and want live coverage on this from the channel, just be sure to, check the channel regardless. Again, I know there's a lot of people live on this all day that have a lot of people over there. So hi, Liz. How are you? Liz. I'm so bad at pronouncing certain things. I will go over, I have 2 super chats that I have to go over. Again, Mary, thank you for the Cash App for the coffee. I appreciate that. I will be getting a coffee because I have a lot of things to go over. I'm going to be going back through testimony, I've been taking notes. So if we're listening to testimony and I'm not talking, it's because I'm taking notes. And I'm also trying to keep up with the chat and see if people are asking questions and all those different things. Again, guys, everything that the channel receives monetary wise, if people do super chat, if people do have memberships or they buy merch, those are all ways to support the channel and help with the work that I'm trying to do and make the channel better and continue to be hopefully a very successful independent journalist as time goes. So I appreciate all of that support. Again, I do want to try to go to the trial, should this go to trial. And again, I am going to be doing trial coverage on a couple cases that I already have scheduled out. I don't think this is going to go to trial if it does until late 2027, 2028, early 2028 would be my guess. It's not quick to go through this and then get a trial scheduled. So I think that we should be okay by then. And I can plan accordingly, but I'm going to keep an eye on this. I will be doing posts as well regarding how the day ended, covering certain things that have gone on X. And if we plan to go live tomorrow morning for the coverage, then we'll be doing the same thing as today, talking a little bit about things that have gone on the internet. Because again, this has everyone at Turning Point USA in quite the tizzy, but there's also some interesting things that have come out that I want to do like independent videos on, just to highlight, because there's just some really funny things going on, to say the least. Also some really disgusting things, but the people doing the disgusting things are the usual suspects, right? The people that we would expect nothing less from. So I do want to cover that. So be sure to keep checking the channel throughout the day. Because in the evening, there will be posts. What I might try to do is get a post out here in a little while and then do another one late night to go over and recap the whole day and space them out to where they still aren't bombarding you, but we're not just doing straight up only trial coverage, but we'll see. You guys let me know what you guys think in the chat. If you guys like the trial coverage during the day, along with going over what went on between Andrew and Candace. And like I said, this is an ongoing thing, or do you guys just want in-feed videos, which I can do that too. Again, the lives for trial coverage, it's not the most fun. And I know there's a lot of coverage being done on it anyway. And I didn't get on right when it was starting, so that probably didn't help. But I'm moving as fast as I can today. So anyways, I appreciate you guys all being with me for 2.5 hours. You guys are all wonderful. I appreciate every single one of you. Selena N1K, thank you so much for the 199 super chat. I appreciate you. And Peaky Blinders, as always, I know you're not here anymore. You had to run, but I appreciate your support for the channel. You've been amazing since the beginning. So I appreciate everybody who's been here since the very beginning. There's several of you that have been some of my day oneers when there was not even 100 people on this channel. So that's amazing. Again, I will probably be live tomorrow, maybe 11:30 noon, somewhere in there. We'll go a little bit later just because it gives me a little bit more time to get ready in the morning, put myself together. It's still hard for me to like get ready fast as I'm like recovering. So it just gives me a little bit more time. But I appreciate all of you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. I'm praying for everybody, praying for Tyler Robinson and for truth. More importantly, I don't want someone's truth. I want the truth. They're two different things. And I think we should all be rooting for that, regardless of what the answer is. And I appreciate all of you guys. And I'll see you guys all later in a video and tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.